Well, at least get our party formed up first before anything.
Yeah, man, let's play, man. Come on, man. Bring your guys in. This is like, how can I say? It's like y'all welcome me into the PC life.
Right?
Oh, Trixzbot Livestream.
Oh, snap!
I didn't see none of my friends. They was like on the chat, but none of them was playing the game.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Isn't it weird, bro? Like, you'll see names you know, but they just come in and just, like, be creepy. That's the live stream world, bro. Not everyone says anything, you know?
Yeah,
Let me see if I can get Jay in here. Yeah, well, let me invite Jay. What the heck? Controller does sound good, because I did start with the controller. I'll probably just do mouse and keyboard.
It's up to you, bro. I don't want to hear crying.
Right, right.
I think it's even. I think he's equal.
Well, this is a campaign-based game, really.
No, I'm talking about like mouse and keyboard.
I
think it's just
it is.
Player, but you do have several buttons. You just press once and you get your item like shield.
Right.
You know what I mean? Scuff got the 4 buttons, but it's gonna be kind of hard to fucking keybind.
Yeah.
Keybind. So I say that is a really hefty thing to use. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, with that keybinds, you could do so much stuff that controller cannot do. Yeah, we may have aim assist, but you have more buttons that you can use.
Right, right.
But I can't take aim assist off and just practice like that.
Let me see what's going on with... Hold on. Hold on. Give me a second here. If you want, just to make it easier, did you want to... You want to just meet me like on the other server?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let me do that and I'm going to drag you in, okay? I'll meet you in the VIP first.
All right.
All right. There you are. All right, hold on. Let me drag you in. All right. Let me know when you see Jay. He should be coming in any second. Oh, there we go. You okay? You okay, bro? Solid. Solid. Solid? There is. Oh shoot! Wait, there's the gym. All right, Jim, how we looking, bro?
No, no.
All right, yeah. How that method's gonna work much better for you, dude. Like I said, I did some benchmarking. Not bad, bro. It even pulled in some FPS. You could put you could change your setting to, well, if your monitor doesn't support high frames, don't worry about it. But you can do everything on ultra, bro. No problem.
Yeah, mine's a TV, so yeah.
Yeah, just do the 60, and then just you can do everything on ultra. You're good to go. It'll still just don't do resolution scale upscaling. You know that's where the frame drops a lot.
Oh, yeah, and I was just installing the game too.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
What's up, Jim?
Not much. Just looking at computer parts, waiting for my motherboard to get here.
Yeah. Remember, motherboard's important. Whatever that motherboard is. Well, I can't even talk. What the heck?
Blah, blah, blah.
Oh, Count Dracula. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever your motherboard is going to be based on all that hardware you're going to be putting in based on terms of compatibility. So make sure now when you shop for things, it's got to be motherboard compatible.
Yep, I'm going to make sure.
But you know how to do that, though. You've done it already, so.
And eventually I'm going to probably try to get the 3600 and maybe...
36, okay.
20.
Yeah, sometimes spend that extra $1 or two. You know what I'm saying? Save up, bro. Like, which one did you want? You wanted the 1900, right?
I was looking at the 1600. But after I've seen the specs of that and the 3600,
yeah,
3600 is way better.
You might want to jump up higher into higher generation.
There's the gym. All right, Jim.
The heck? I hear us both. What the hell is that? Oh, that's us hearing you on you, Solid. That was creepy, bro.
Nah, you'll be all right.
Is that neck? Oh.
Oh, snap.
Okay, let's see if I blow up my computer now.
Hey, Minecraft Dungeon and Dragons. What? What?
What?
Kelso requested that in the thing. I'm gonna have to definitely check that out.
Did you see the game I told you about?
Oh, that one too? Is that a mobile game? Because it looks like it's just Play Store.
Yeah, it's mobile, yeah.
Ah, okay.
I saw it somewhere and I was like, you know, I'm gonna try it out. It's actually kind of like Clash Royale, but it's a little different.
Gotcha.
It's funny though.
Yeah.
Some of the characters talking and stuff, it's so funny.
Yeah.
What game?
It's called...
It's the... Oh, I know which game it is. It's that one game.
World War Dope?
Wait, what?
Yeah, it's called World War Dope.
Oh, I thought you said World War Nope.
Oh, like Homer Sister
Like
Dope?
Homer Sister Dope. Yep. It's funny. It's got a little bit of comedy too because they have this one guy, he shows his booty and then he says kiss it or something like that. I was like, whoa.
Oh, wow.
Pretty funny one.
Yeah.
So you could like taunt the other person, and it's got so many different taunts you could do.
Let me try to see if it...
Let me get my booty.
So for some reason I can't invite you, Jim. I don't know what's going on. Oh wait, no, now I can.
So all three of us is not gonna play this game unless all three of us is.
You got it. You hear that, Jim?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really. I really don't like when Speedy does that a lot, bro.
Yeah, I know, bro, but that's everybody, you know?
Like, man, I told you to calm down, man. We play when I play.
Hey, what's going on, dude? Lewis, how are you, bro? What's going on, dude?
We don't got a force.
Actually, I want to check something. I need to reset the stream. I do need to reset it.
I'm gonna get bro. Watch. This laptop is...
I'll just keep it on this. I don't care. It's all good. It looks good anyway. Hell yeah, dude. Heck yeah, man. Oh, get that Apex practice going in, guys. That's the way to do it. Oh, let me get my webcam on.
The first person that all of you.
Jeez, hold on, guys. I'm sorry. Okay. Get ourselves out here, guys. Gotta get ourselves out here. Hold on, let me get my microphone.
Yes, to restart
my microphone, my
Oh, I just keep the settings the same.
Why is it doing that?
Yeah, I was gonna change everything because it's on low right
We're looking pretty good there. All right, so give me 1 second, and then we'll get everything back on. Let me just get my headphones on here real quick. Ooh, what did I just drop?
So interesting.
Oh no! Oh
I
no!
played it, me and Trix played it before on Xbox. It was not bad.
Right. No, it wasn't Xbox. It was
quite a bit.
No, it was Xbox. We played it on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we only did like the
zombies will like climb up the walls and everything. It gets pretty hectic too.
Yeah, but that's okay. We're all level 1. It's a fresh start. Pretty much did a little practice round.
Streaming, so I got.
You know what? I completely forgot something.
Play some World War Z. Man.
Give me 1 second, guys. I do apologize. Give me 1 second. Sorry. Hold on. Tell me why you low-key look like... Wait, what?
Did you stream that already?
No. I redid it. I had to redo it real quick. Hold on. I want to test something. I'm doing a different like setup.
I got in there and said stream was offline. Like, okay.
All right, Kelso's downloading it now. Where's Kelso? Is he with us here on Discord or no?
I don't think so.
Oh yeah, he is. Hold on. Oh yo, wait, what's up, Kelso? I might have a solution for you, bro. Just so that way you don't have to wait for like download time. How is the download coming? Be nice to get a nice little full 4-man squad before we start.
Oh, you guys, that's no comment.
Oh.
Okay, why does window borderless not let me actually scroll to my other screen? What the heck? Okay.
Give me 1 second. Let me see how it looks now. Let me know if it looks any different to you, Jim. Well, I don't know if you're...
Yeah, I got it up there. A little bit different.
Does it look like better, sharper, anything, or?
Did you change like the layout?
No, I changed the encoder. Now that I'll have the extra resources.
Oh, okay.
So that's why it doesn't look like real clear, like no like pixelation, because I'm not using the NVENC no more. I'm using my actual CPU, which is probably gonna fry, but that's okay.
Yeah, it looks.
Ooh, my CPU utilization just went from 20% to like 50, 60, but I'm using the slow preset, so that's why it's so high. So it's all good though. And because I'm doing it the you know what way, I'm able to do this, so this is kind of cool. All right, where's Kelso? Kelso, I don't know if Kelso's able to talk.
Yeah, it looks a lot better.
Yeah, I don't hear him.
Yeah, Kelso, we don't hear you, bro. But Solid, you had the same issue when you joined the channel. Is it something with the...
Why does borderless not work?
No?
I'm trying to scroll to the other screen and it's not letting me.
Oh, just hit the Windows key and then slide the mouse over.
Wow.
Well, yeah, even though it's window borderless, understand you're doing it the way I told you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why that's happening. Typically, normally you wouldn't have to do that, but because it's trying to focus everything on one screen.
So basically, I got alt tab anyway, so that's cool. Okay, that makes sense.
Well, no, but your game is still running though. Like you can still, you know, still running. You ain't gotta worry about it minimizing. Like I'm able to go to the next screen and still see the game, which is pretty cool. All right, so in the week I'm gonna be mainly playing Wingman. Sounds interesting. Wingman, never heard of it. Lewis is like, my screen is blank. Okay, it's good. Sorry about that, guys. Just refresh. I'm gonna type this in chat so everybody knows. Is it because I said you look like CDN? No, you're good, Louis. You're good. I had to change some settings here real quick, guys. All right, everything else looks good. Everything else look good. All right. Okay. We have to figure out what's going on with Kelso. Let me drag him on, drag him back in. Hold on.
You sure?
Kelso? Oh, there he is.
I had to change my audio because every time I open up Discord, because my monitor has speakers, it automatically switches to the speakers if I don't have my headset plugged in.
You know what the problem is? PC gamers, we always got cords and everything all over the place, and we always got to configure something with something because we're so picky and fancy.
Cords like yours. Yours is a garden of cords. I'm not a garden of cords.
Gee, my cords are like Pokemon. I can literally name each chord and keep going. Like, it's crazy.
He's got the first 250 listed already.
What the heck was I saying?
All I did was. Oh no, you don't. I've heard about it. I've heard about it, man. They've told horror stories.
Wait, for what?
16th century, just about his cords.
Oh my God! If I showed you a before and after, ooh, Jay would tell you. So I applied new paste today.
Ah.
Yeah, I seen that.
How is it doing?
Much better.
Oh,
My card's at 40 degrees Celsius.
Dude, tell me, did it come off like dust?
No, actually, when I took it off, the paste was there, but obviously some of it was really dried out. You can actually start seeing a plate, so it needed replaced.
Oh,
You forgot my card though.
Yeah, Jay, I told you you have to do it, bro. Just take it apart. It's literally a couple screws. Take out the plate.
I don't know where my stuff's at though.
No, I don't have rubbing alcohol. I only had peroxide.
That's what people say when they want someone else to do it. And they don't want to do it themselves. I don't want it.
I can't find my stuff. I knew.
Yes, guys. No, I have like before and after pictures of like my desk, right? Crazy with cords, guys. Crazy.
Does it automatically? Just
Real crazy, guys. I mean, we're talking insane crazy.
Yeah, that's me for everything.
All right, so we're gonna be starting this game here in just a moment here, guys.
Make himself a sandwich. You'd be like, well,
it's too hard.
yeah, right? Jeez, these millennials, man. These younger millennials. They're almost generation. Why the heck do we choose to have them?
Yeah, very true. I sent you a DM, Kelso. You could try that if you want. As long as you own the game, you should be good to go, so you don't have to worry about installing it.
It popped up for a second. Okay, right there.
Now, are they still doing the Founders Edition trial, J13? Do you remember? Or Jim?
I already have the Epic downloader. This is...
I don't think so.
They did away with it. Ooh, okay.
I already have the Epic launcher installed.
Yeah, no, it's not the Epic launcher. It's the Wait, did I send you the wrong one?
You sent me in Discord. I was looking at the pop-up because right when you said that, Windows popped up on the right side with something.
Oh, and guess what we found out today? Me and Solid, guys. I'll let Solid explain it. Let him get some chatter going on. Go ahead, Solid.
What are you talking about? Dead by Daylight?
Yeah, what did we figure out today? What did we find out?
God damn it.
You can't play?
No, that's crossplay yet. Not yet.
Oh man, they're never gonna get crossplay.
Solid, you're lying. Check this out. Windows
Dungeon beta.
Windows 10 and Steam can now play Dead by Daylight together. That is the only crossplay currently, but no friend system. Meaning, if you play Dead by Daylight on Windows 10, you will come across Steam players during matchmaking, but there is no adding players from another platform quite yet. And then console crossplay is coming soon. But let's be honest here. This game's been out for how many years, and they're now doing this? Like, come on.
Yeah, you see all these games on crossplay now.
Honestly, Lewis, I don't even know who that is. CDN the Third. You're gonna make me look it up, bro. You're gonna make me look it up. Who is this person? Yeah. Oh shoot! You just reminded me. What the heck am I doing? I like this music at the main menu though. It's kind of lit. I haven't said lit in a while.
Ham and cheese.
Now, does the character look cartoony at the main screen, or am I just going crazy?
No.
You are crazy.
Yeah. Well, no, I am crazy. I got the. I got documentation to prove that.
You got that anal retentiveness, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I see a lot of.
On my screen.
If I can say if there's any difference, it just looks when it's miniaturized, it doesn't look so great.
Mine looks pretty garbage.
Oh shoot! Yeah, I realized I was on that screen. Okay, so now it looks better when it's bigger.
Yeah,
That
the
was
only thing I
bad.
can say is, you know what they call that filmic density?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's got a lot of film on the
Yeah, I noticed that. I'm
or
seeing
like
that
high
too.
sharpness.
Yeah, let me check my settings. I think it's something to do with the game.
Either high sharpness or film grain.
Mm,
Yeah, mine looks kind of grainy, but
yeah, it's kind of annoying. It's like a lot of noise going on. How do we adjust that?
That'd be
mine's on low settings, so yeah, that's
Really?
probably why.
No, dude, put it.
Yeah,
Put
'cause
it-
you're seeing Ultra right now as he's scrolling down.
Yeah, I don't know why mine was on preset low settings, but that's what it gave me.
Well, it tested your system and said that's what you could handle.
So what is this?
Oh,
What
no,
is this
okay.
Vulcan? Like, I'm kind of curious how this Vulcan operates.
Dude, Vulcan really helps out.
Really, because it usually isn't that like a more of a performance deal compared to DirectX?
Well, all I know is that they recommend it.
Really? Oh, I'm turning it on. What is this? Fidelity. This should be the sharpening.
Boom, 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 boom.
Oh, I'm turning it on. Oh, let's see what happened. Oh, I gotta restart.
Gotta restart.
Hello, my name is Trix. I'm a live YouTube streamer.
Ooh.
Don't be shy. Feel free to ask questions.
What? You just add that request into Twitch or something?
That's this guy that put it on his what is this, Facebook? Twitch.
Oh
I'm
man.
gonna buy this game.
No, wait. You didn't get it. Wait, wasn't it? You didn't get it for free?
No.
Oh no, you don't have to buy it, Kels. I feel bad. Like, wait, do you have Game Pass?
Xbox Game Pass, yeah.
See if can okay, crossplay. Is this game crossplay for a console? We can find out.
I have no idea.
I don't know. I feel like I'm talking to Ricky Ricardo.
Yeah.
Ah,
All right, let me
I don't know, Lucy.
let me restart my game real quick. I'm gonna do the Vulcan. My character did look too sharp.
That intermission, though.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's crossplay.
Oh, there you go. Just do
Spent $34.
well, that's why I told you to hold up, time out. Trying to save you that cash. I mean, I know.
Hey, man, if it was Smite and I had to pay for it, I'd be like, alright, I know at least Trix will play that whenever I request it, even if he's like tired of playing that. Yeah.
No, I do want to get on Smite though. That is a throwback game for sure. Yo, Gothic, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. Sorry guys, I'm just getting set up here real quick, and then we're gonna be going. Yeah, no, we definitely got See It These coming again soon. I do want to get a Galleon. Kelso's new, Solid's new. Jim, me and you is gonna have to start training.
Yeah,
So you gotta carry us. I'm gonna be the tour guide.
Well, we're gonna have to make a date.
Yeah, well, it depends. Like, what do you like to eat?
oh, damn.
Whatever
want
that
some
fills
chicken.
my
Just give me
belly,
some
bro.
chicken.
Whatever fills up your belly. I like that.
Give me some Korean barbecue chicken.
Damn.
Mmm. Okay, now you guys are making my stomach rumble.
I was asking for
And-
Do you want me to send you the wingman on IG? It doesn't matter, big nerd. Wherever you guys want to send it, that's fine. I got World War Z. Wish they would add
He's just
more
trying to
stuff.
trigger Trix.
Yeah, we're gonna try it. We're gonna try it. Hi, hello, Lewis. So I wasn't expecting that emote set Lost Pirate Collection. Really, Peter Pan.
You didn't get a kill.
When I think Peter Pan, I think Robin Williams. I don't know. It's just that movie was amazing.
It's
Okay.
not that problem.
Let's
Shit.
figure out what else we have here, guys. All right.
Didn't get your gun up.
No, I got my
Get
gun
it.
up, alright?
Get it. Get
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I guess my character looks better now.
I'm not
Looks
Trix.
I don't know. Looks the same.
It could just be that menu. There's a lot of games that have it like that.
Yeah, I think it's intentionally designed that way. I think it's just the layout. Oh, I can't invite you. Oh yeah, I could. Hold on. Okay, so you're about to do it on Xbox, right? Yeah.
Yeah, once I download it.
Trix has invited
it's gonna
you
still be
to
download
play
time,
together.
so.
Yeah.
I can't wait till cloud gaming. I'm not late, right? You know the
Zero Seeker
if
41.
I check Discord when he asked me, "Hey, do you have
What
this
are you
game?"
seeking?
Literally like 10 minutes,
I don't know.
30 minutes before stream, that was
Seeking zeros.
Right. But I did do a notice, and I did announce in the chat, like, hey, we're about to go on. I need 2 players. Jim responded, and I'm like, Kelso was wanting to play some games. I'm like, I don't usually DM, but I'm going to do it.
on my stream, sharing it, networking, you know.
I know.
Thing. Asking all my family members to join.
Paladins. We could try Paladin sometime, guys. I'm not going to be good at it, though. This game is cool. Thank you, Gothic. I do want to try it, though. I do really want to try it and see what it's all about. I've seen really, really big things about it. And by the way, Big Nerd, I have to check. Give me a second.
At least share it, damn it.
I'm checking right now, buddy. Give me 1 second. I don't see it. Where am I looking for this?
Just follow. You know? It's good enough for me right now. Dude, I kind of want to play the new Ori.
Yeah, no, I don't see it. Jim, you gotta stop farting, bro. That is nasty. Okay, so we're doing World War Z crossplay. Let's look this up and see what we got here, guys. This game is crossplay early next year. You can play World War Z through Xbox Game Pass. Yeah, they're saying Xbox One and PC can play.
Removed. Yeah, no results were found with World War Z on Xbox Game Pass. I think they removed it.
They removed it?
I think they did. Someone check it out. Find out. If I'm typing it wrong, then.
Wait a minute. Now, when they say PC though, it says all platforms. But I mean, does that mean the Windows 10 version? That's what I'm kind of curious.
I'm just saying, Game Pass on PC doesn't have it. So maybe Game Pass on Xbox?
Don't you have like a limit of how long you can play this too?
I would.
Oh, on that? Yeah, that's why I was wondering if there was a Founders Edition. If not, it's kind of pointless.
What?
Because after every hour, it's gonna make you reboot, and it's kind of annoying.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm already on 39 minutes already, so.
So that's just the way it is. See if you can upgrade and see if you can get the Founders Edition.
Okay.
Because you get 3 months free, and if they don't have that anymore, then you just missed it because they were saying they were going to stop that. Because now everybody's at home, not working, and nothing else to do instead of going outside, or everybody's just playing video games.
When they should be having all of their game sales so they can sell like crazy.
No, not really. Keep the prices up. So the consumer, demand's going to be higher now because everybody wants it.
I reduced my games by 20%. That way, and I'm gonna jump on every little sale bandwagon on Xbox because they've been having it since Christmas. Like right when they heard about Corona, like, oh, we can make money here. You're at home. What you eating, bruh? Little chimichanga?
Peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Damn, I
Because-
fed my son that for fucking lunch today.
Okay. Because the crossplay only says enable crossplay between other platforms or whatever, but it doesn't really specify. So if I were to add you on, when you log in, maybe on Xbox, maybe it does make you sign into Epic. Maybe I don't know. How does this work? Because
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, because it is linked to your Epic account, like when you play on Xbox.
and so is your Xbox is linked to your. Yeah, you're right. Because Fortnite does that. Okay, that might work. All right, how are we looking on percent there, Kel? So I'm not in a rush. I really don't care because we're chatting anyway.
It ain't on Game Pass. I have to load up my Xbox right now. I haven't done that, so just go continue. Yeah,
How big is this game? Because I think it's small.
No,
Yeah, it's not very big.
Oh yeah.
I just don't have dual monitors. I have my PC screen open. I don't have my other monitor set up here, so I can't just load up my my Xbox.
Okay. Yeah, this game is only 20 gigabytes. That should be quick.
I've watched 20 gigabytes on the Microsoft Store take forever. Anyone else?
Um.
I'll just go ahead, Trix. Go ahead. I could just spend the $34 and just
Well, I'm trying to think.
I'll just wait till you switch to Sea of Thieves or something.
Let me see here. No, they still got the 90-day. They still got it. I see it.
Yeah, I just seen it too.
Yep, you're good, Kelso. There you go.
What you mean?
You don't have to install no game. You just launch this and click World War Z, and you're good to go.
What?
Well, actually, hold on a second. No, you won't be because this connects to your PC games. You don't have this for PC, so that would defeat the purpose.
What are you talking about?
So I get
See,
this
what you
in
just
July.
like-
Nice.
I feel like I'm following a blind man, and I'm a blind man myself.
Well, they do have the Founders Edition, which means you can still get the 3 months trial, whatever. The only thing is, you will need like an actual copy of the game in order to play it on here. and you don't have... Oh, how much is it on Epic? You said it was $34? That's a lot of money for this game.
Go to T2A.
Oh yeah, what is it on there?
Yeah.
Let's find out.
20.
Still a lot. What the heck? They gave this game away for free on Epic. There's got to be a way to get it much cheaper.
Amazon, have it delivered. 30 days.
Yeah, but delivery right now. All right, here we go. Yeah, $20. The only one that's cheaper is Europe, but that's not gonna work.
Yeah, it's always cheaper in Europe.
Really, Gothic? It was 40? Wow. So what, is this like a zombie version of Horde mode on Gears?
I don't know.
You've never tried Horde mode, have you?
It was $40. Nah, I never really got to play it too much. Me and Jim, we did Gears of War 5, but that was the only one we played.
Yeah, they got a new Horde mode on there.
Kind of sucks because that game looks like it could have been 3 players. All right, it was $40. Really, Gothic? Wow, you should see it on IG now. All right, let me check a look. I don't really do Messenger, guys. Let me check IG. Hold on.
You say Instagram? Is that what IG is? I'm
What?
outdated.
Right.
Sell some TP, yeah. Trade some TP for the game.
Man, I bet you. Hey, man, like I was telling Trix the other
Wait, what is this? This is Borderlands? Wait, what the hell is that? Oh, Apex. Okay.
How many ramen and cartons of Chris do you think would take equal one TP roll right now?
Wait, who? What? Wait, I just got confused right now.
I need company all. You TP for my butthole.
In prison right now. Like how? You remember how ramens and
Oh yeah. Oh, toilet paper is probably hitting the market now.
seasoning packets, freaking ramens.
Walk up and like, yo,
You walk out with someone else's storehouse just for
Like-
one TP roll.
like I got that TP, bro. Like, where you gonna teleport me? No, not teleport, man. Got that toilet paper.
That TP roll, bro.
Right.
It's
They
probably
get a
bigger
stab
than
with that TP roll, and then they soak it up.
illegal drugs in there.
Ah, there you go. There you go. Got that. Is a way to do it. Yeah, I mean, this game is oh, well, there is another option. Do you have did you enroll for the Project X preview program or no?
Yeah.
Okay. You could. It's on there. It's free too, so that'd be an option for you.
Well, Project X never actually notified me that I could.
Okay, that's another option out of the way then. So we can't do the Founders because you don't have it on Epic. You can't do the Project X because you never got enrolled.
Play.
You can do it on Game Pass, but you have to install it on your Xbox. That'll take some time, and we're not even 100% sure if it's.
Hey,
Get you in.
just send me the link for the Project X download. I know I signed up months and months ago.
They would have emailed you saying you got accepted. If you never got accepted, you still can't. You just have to open up your phone and just download the streaming app or game streaming app for Xbox. If you open it up and it does let you play the games, then you're good. If not, then you're not enrolled.
I think I actually have that. Do I have to do it on my phone or can I do it on my PC?
Now, currently, Project X comes out on PC this year, 2020, but right now it's only available on mobile devices.
That's janky. Yeah, I think I have that actually on my iPad.
So the creator program comes with perks, so that's really good. You for real going to be plugged if you got that? Yeah, right, Lewis. Oh my gosh, bro. Oh wait, what happened?
Let's get that content on your stream, man. No need to wait for me.
Yeah, man.
I'll be a viewer today.
I don't know, man. Nowadays, I think it's more about interaction than it is with content. Because I mean, I think I don't know. But we need a 4th player, Kelso. I know you're installing it right now, though, right?
No, I'm not. I didn't pay $34.99.
No, but it was on Game Pass. You got it for Xbox. You said.
It's not on Game Pass.
Oh
Game Pass.
no!
Yeah. You're not catching up. See,
You know what though? You have to admit, I tried everything. I tried to give you so many options to get on here.
I know, right? I know.
I don't want you to spend 30. I just don't want you to spend $30 on this game. I don't see.
I'm not gonna spend $34 on this game.
It's too much.
No, it's not. But I'm not gonna do it.
Man, I wish it was still free on Epic. How much is it on Epic then? Is it like $5 since they gave it away for free?
$34.99.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, forget that.
Back up to original price.
All right. Well, either way, you do got Sea of Thieves installed. You do got Bleeding Edge installed.
Yeah.
All right. So just in case, I got to make sure. What other games were we all talking about? I want to make sure we're all like
Let
on
me
the
know
same
I have it
page.
downloaded. Let me know and I'll have it all downloaded before you're done.
Wasn't there another one? There was another one. I'm losing my marbles without having any marbles. I don't understand. Like,
Nah, there's Cellmate. Oh wow.
Yo, I played this game with a controller, so it's gonna be weird on mouse and keyboard. How was it, Jay?
Dude, imagine the value that freaking cellmate would have to be though for the TP.
Right, right.
Man,
Now we go
you
back to that Kevin?
I've never played this one yet on
Man.
PC, so.
'Cause
I
everyone
played
in there
on
look-
controller and it sucks.
Everyone in there looks like Sand Snake in Sea of Thieves. Yeah, you're gonna need a top 10 tier, not a. No.
So there's only 4 episodes in this game?
Arr.
At that moment, you're gonna actually have to sell Bubba to get a toilet roll paper. You
I
know,
gotta say, Bubba.
the guy in Control is now being sold just for TP.
So, okay, so episode 1's gonna be New York.
This is Dr. Alex Greengold. Can anyone hear me?
He plays different people in each episode.
Hey, after all this, you know that 1,000 roll sheet Scott toilet paper that'd be like $1? That shit's gonna be like $5 in the stores after this recession and shit. $5 roll, single ply, just rip your butthole.
Yeah, absolutely right, Lewis and Project Zero. Oh my God, Zero, my lord! Yeah, we'll be doing some Sea of Thieves very soon, guys. If not tonight, maybe sometime this week. Don't worry.
And everybody knows that pink roll you find at that
You know.
98-cent plus store, the little pink one. Feels like you're like wiping with cardboard. Yeah, that's gonna be expensive.
Mm-hmm.
You can have $10. You can have it with lavender.
Nah, I'm gonna make that new toilet paper rolls, like the ones that come disinfectant. So you do 2 in 1.
Lavender toilet paper, man. Like, who's gonna get near my butt? I ain't a dog.
Well, I think at this point, people are starting to realize that how much toilet paper they actually use. Instead of being so cheap on toilet seats, go buy the one, get a little bidet, shoot some water up in there. Makes it much easier, less wiping, more squirting.
You don't need a bidet. You get one of those extensions on your shower,
Oh my God, I know you.
tape it to the back of your toilet seat, and you have a spray on you.
Yeah.
Duct tape.
Yeah, or hop in the shower.
Never ever have to step off the toilet. Just turn that faucet. You're good. That's how blue collar does it. Yeah. Ah, see, now that just makes me imagine what the shower.
Louis, you're silly, bro. Oh my God, yeah, that's very true. All right, okay. Give me 1 second. We're about to start, but before we start, I want us all to go grab your snacks, grab your drinks.
3 days.
That
Final
is so
Fantasy
good,
VII.
Luis.
Oh man. Read what Lewis said.
I know. That's funny. Imagine like
The strip club with TP.
getting a little private dance. Like yo, back off. Too close. Pretty soon, man. It's gonna be virtual holograms. I mean, there's no human contact.
One sheet is $5. Just
Rip off rip a sheet off on the toilet paper roll and then stick it inside. Like here you go. No more dollar bills.
find yourself a super mega roll, just throw it at the face like a roll of quarters.
Speaking of sanitizer, I had to buy a bottle today. It cost me $4. Too much money, man.
Damn.
And then you can only buy one. They don't let you buy more than that. It wasn't even that.
When you leave, you come back in 5 minutes.
Well,
you buy
I-
another one.
yeah,
It counts as you being a different customer.
Yeah, well, it's funny. In America, you realize people do things for certain things. So, yeah, I just send people back in, and we're good to go.
I go. Oh, no, I'm a dick. I come back in and be like, did you just buy this? You see me with any toilet paper? I just came in here.
Yeah, this was only a 7.5 fluid ounce for $4.
Dang, Trix.
Mucho-
Still an industrial size.
That's mucha moolah, man. $4. I don't like spending $4. I could have had like 4 McChickens when they used to be $1.
Bro, that's the size of a lubricant bottle.
Yeah, you might be right about that.
All you need is some 4 Shake it all up.
That's crazy, guys. All right, so we're gonna get started on this game, guys. Give me just a moment. We're gonna go, and then let me go grab me a drink, and then we're gonna get started. Okay, guys, hold on. All right, so everybody, go grab a drink, grab a snack. We're gonna start in like 30 seconds.
I already ate my sandwich already.
Wash your hands before you touch me. That's funny. Ah, Jim, you're on a roll. If only your PC would let you say half these things.
I know. Well, I have a part coming this week, so maybe it'll be by maybe
A
by
part?
Monday.
Which
A
one?
part, yeah. So far, yeah. I'm doing the motherboard first, just to see if that's the issue.
You know, you're just using this as an excuse for full upgrading too. I see it now. It's
Pretty much.
starting to bleed in. Hey, why do you think I made you them? You saw that thing I sent you, right? In that chat.
Yeah.
The difference, man. Ugh.
Oh yeah.
I mean, later you won't have to upgrade your GPU. You just be like, all right, you know what? I feel like a new processor for the heck of it. I got so many options. Like 70%.
I'm already looking
thought
at the
about that.
processor, and I'm already looking at a GPU. So.
Did you change your mind on the 1600?
Yeah, I think so.
What are you looking at?
I'm thinking the 3600,
Oh, the 36.
and then I was thinking maybe like the 2060.
The 2060. Oh. See now I'm still sitting here thinking like you're waiting for that stimulus check.
What
Pretty
in the hell
much.
did you start Bluetooth, bro? Oh, the conversation? Oh, shit. One of my
Yeah, after I heard about this coming out this week, the stimulus check, I'm like, yeah, I'm just waiting for that.
Don't worry, it will stimulate you.
That's the...
Whoa, what's wrong, Snake?
Oh, one of my chatters was listening on the
Oh.
conversation.
I hope he's enjoying the chat.
Yeah, he was laughing his ass off. He said, "What in the hell did I stumble into, bro?"
Greatness. You stumbled into greatness.
Yes, arg. He said 30 seconds. What the?
Come on now. He always says I'll be right back, and then he's out of his car for like 45 minutes. Come on now. I watched him in Final Fantasy IX, I think it was, and I had him go to this one spot to farm this one dragon. And it literally should have been something that should have taken him like, I don't know, max 30 minutes. We spent 5 hours in that stream, and I could say he finished 20% of what should have taken.
Try playing a game
Like,
with him when he's
Dude,
on
I
mobile.
try staying awake. All of a sudden I hear a sound, I'm awake! Oh, what the fuck, he just left again. It kills me, man, it kills me. And you were saying,
Oh,
Jake?
yeah. Try playing a game with him when he's on mobile.
Oh yeah.
Wait, were you the guy? Were you the guy playing Gears of War with him on mobile?
Yeah, and I died about
Oh,
like 10
dude.
million times.
Oh, dude. I saw that. That's
I'd be sitting there all of a
Many
sudden getting attacked by
pauses.
something, I get murdered. He dipped out of me like, oh, thanks for the warning.
He doesn't give warning. He doesn't.
I started telling him that, please give me a warning before you leave so I know, find a safe spot.
Gotta get water.
We all on house arrest and need a permission slip to go to work. What? I don't need a permission slip. I didn't listen to school, I ain't gonna listen now. Just put on my face mask, I don't care. Hey,
Okay.
if TP prices are still the same way during Halloween,
Mmm.
I look like a baller when I ruin someone's house. They ain't even gonna be able to complain. They're like, oh, thank you so much, I've been needing this.
Oh yeah, TP their house and they're like, oh yes, we hit the jackpot.
Mm-mm.
Where's this guy's house? I want to get his candy. He can afford 50 rolls of toilet paper. You know he got them king size.
There we go. I'm a
Oh
woman.
damn!
You're a woman? Woo!
Hey,
Yeah, I'm a
Trix,
what the
why
heck?
does your character look like a modernized version of Snake's CFD's character?
Yeah, right? It does. Snake's character, man, he has some I don't know what's going on with his character,
I
but
always try to
Man.
portray my character like me. I'm
Dude.
fat.
Dude, if I could get a jersey like that in Sea of Thieves, yeah, I would have no problem being on there right now.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. Maybe eventually later on down the line, you know.
Man, they just need to take it that way, man. Oh shit, Axeman.
Why could we have a virus to make people take showers? That's true, man.
Oh, they only got what, 5 characters?
Yeah, how do we choose our character?
Or is it?
Oh, change class.
Hey, I personally hate this
Preferred
virus.
character.
No?
I vape, so, you know, naturally, adding water vapor to my lungs means Yeah.
Oh, we can only do preferred characters.
Pneumonia? No, thank you. It's dangerous.
Okay, so who wants what character?
That is sick, though. I might spend 34.
I picked mine.
You got the chick? Okay, what about you, Solid? You want the dude? Yeah, he picked the dude real quick.
We got the girls.
Hey, you ask me anytime, I'll pick a chick.
I'm gonna pick a chick too. I'm always a chick. Every game I play. I don't know. You got a guy named
You guys all have Dead by Daylight downloaded or not?
Huh?
For future reference, you guys got Dead by Daylight? Or yeah, I think it's Dead by Daylight.
Yep, I got Dead by Daylight on both.
Alright.
I think it's on sale on Steam, right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was
So
free
I'm
on
looking
Game
on
Pass.
Steam.
Oh, okay. What's check that.
Yeah, well, he played it. He got it on the Game Pass on the PC, but we couldn't match each other because I was on Steam. You can only matchmake crossplay. There's no friends system yet.
Oh, you're talking about Dead by Daylight? Yeah.
Yeah, but he has it on every platform, even mobile.
Oh, wait, we don't have no upgrades yet anyway, so we're just ready up.
Mobile version sucks.
And what? Oh, Dead by Daylight.
It does look bad.
I mean,
Like that peanut butter and jelly that's currently on Snake's floor.
I feel like they waited too long to release that mobile version.
How did you know this, Jelly on my floor?
Bruh, most people overstuff the PBJs. You're one of them. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yes, you're right. I like my sandwich overstuffed.
Oh, that's why they call it stuffing.
Stuffing a face?
Yeah.
There's a dirty version of that too.
Oh.
Yeah. Especially with the peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, I don't know. I only know stuff that's like on WVIZ and stuff or Nick Jr.
Oh wow. They got some dirty stuff on there too.
Yeah, especially with Author. Oh my god, have you seen the memes?
Who?
Author.
You mean Arthur?
Arthur, yeah. Did I say Author?
Yeah, you said author like you illustrating something.
Oh my gosh. My mind today is not here, guys. I'm sorry.
No, you're showing your true accent, Trix.
Man, somebody said that earlier.
I will leave your ass here.
Nobody is leaving anybody.
Yeah, this game does have a sharpness thing. I don't know why it's like that.
Yeah.
Chance to get out.
Whoa.
Not going into the subway.
You ready, Solid? You ready, bro?
We will starve here. The subway is our only chance.
Dude, look at how quickly they pouncing over that car, though.
Man. See, it gives me that Left 4 Dead feeling.
I don't like him, but he's right.
All right, let me get comfortable. I can't get...
Never gonna let
Hola,
that happen, Louis.
Where's my low rider?
They should at least have horde.
Hey, hold on. This crosshair is not correct. Why is it right there on the screen? It should be lower.
Uh-huh. You telling the game designers how to develop the game?
I don't know if I want to see the monitor, my computer, or the monitor to play the game.
Up to you.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's really just a personal
I could
preference.
just go for it. PC looks better on this.
Yeah, actually, I should have probably installed this game. It probably looked much better. It could be why, too. But it still looks good on here. What do you think, Jay?
Oh wait, so you didn't install it, just a free
Yeah, it
trial?
looks
No.
I think it looks
too
good.
bad.
I'm playing it on the NVIDIA servers. But believe it or not, it's not bad. I'm turning the camera, and it runs phenomenal.
Yeah.
No lag or nothing. Wow.
No, dude, this is like... Yeah, that's what I said. Remember when I benchmarked? It was hitting above 90 FPS. Like, they're... I mean, I get it. You're connected to, like, a graphics maker server, so obviously they got a good GPU running. But the fact that if the game supports RTX, you can use it.
Oh, I mean, you said it might have something
We
to do
gotta
with
play a
it, too.
game that has RTX.
Right. Yeah, I don't like this crosshair, man. It doesn't match.
Call of Duty has ray tracing.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, on PC.
Oh yeah, this game, Activision took it down. They told NVIDIA they didn't want their games on there. 2K Games took their games down. Who else was it?
Just okay.
Alright.
Wait, is that a Corona during Corona?
No, that's it's one of those like organic drinks. All right.
Agave?
Sure.
Look at Solid already knows what we're doing. How do we know? Wait, ooh.
Holy shit.
What happened?
What in the hell happened to y'all around here? Y'all just got fucked up. Yo, you missing a leg, dog. You alright?
They're missing a body.
Holy shit. You got no head over there, bro. Whoa.
Dan, you hear me?
Hey, what's up? I don't see you guys on the roof.
Hey,
We're going
you better
for it.
watch it.
Trying the
I'll
subway
kick
to
your ass.
Inwood.
Don't be coming
Over.
here, B.
Yeah, really? I don't. Maybe the grunts are
How you made
running
it?
I don't know. Oh, I'm gonna have to switch buttons because melee's probably not gonna be. Holy zero!
Whoa, he just jumped on you, bro.
Yeah, he did.
Watch it, watch it, watch it, watch. Oh, 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 oh. You're too loud. All right, hold on, time out, hold out. Is there a melee in this game? I don't remember.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shoot, solid!
Damn it! Somebody shot me!
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I'm so cheap on ammo, I'm trying to shoot one at a time. Okay, hold on, what the? I'm going to settings.
Right.
Controls. All right, so we have sprint, crouch, movement, vault climb, switch shoulder. What the heck? Oh, we can switch the way we aim. Sweet.
Okay, it's R1.
R1 must be nice. Yeah. Q is a switch weapon. Really? That's weird. Button. Why is it not mouse wheel? Okay, melee for us is F. Ugh.
Whoa, dude, what happened here?
No. Not doing F.
F? Really? Wow. Okay.
Such a weird keybind. Alright, what's K? K anything? No?
See,
Good.
right now, I could just switch it to... I could do that and switch my melee over... I pick over here. Let's see if it works. Yep.
Alright, let me see it. Alright, now I got melee, so wait.
I put it on one of my paddles.
Stairs are out. Push through to the elevator.
There's a crate here.
Is there collectibles that we gotta collect around, or...?
I wouldn't doubt it. Usually games like these might have Easter eggs. Your eyes open.
I'm just gonna look.
Alright, so we got melee, we got switch weapon. Switch weapon is Q. I don't like that. It feels weird. This is definitely a console game. Okay.
Somebody just threw a grenade.
Yo, what happened to the zombie though? What do you guys see with this zombie?
That was me accidentally. Oops.
I don't know which one. Oh, mine's middle mouse button. Are you kidding me for a grenade?
Oh, shoot!
Oh no.
Well, I pressed what you said, and I said what you meant. I threw a grenade, but I did not meant. Middle mouse for grenade? Really? Why not G?
What the heck? No. Ow. No.
We've got an infector.
Oh, an effector! Oh god, get away from it! Oh, I'm out of here.
I'm dying.
Yo, stay away from that effector. Zero needs help, guys. Zero needs help. Oh, what the hell was that? Was that? Oh! What the? Oh, no.
Oh, those things are mean.
Oh, no, you don't. No, you don't. Here, I got you guys. How do I get you up? Oh, that's a zero. Oh, wait, what the?
I'm just hungry now. I'm attacking you.
That was you?
Yep.
I need help!
Oh, no, I'm doomed.
Come on! Somebody shoot it!
I need men!
See, that's like a Left 4 Dead Charger attack, right? And we thought artificial intelligence were the dumb ones.
Whoa!
Yeah, that was rough.
Okay, he's going at him with a handgun, bro. The AI knows what they're doing.
No, I need some ammo. I'm out of ammo out here, bub.
More zombies. Okay.
Holy crap. You want the piece of me? I'll chop you up in little pieces.
Hey, take out the bomber!
Oh, God.
Oh, that one. Oh.
What the heck?
I just fell on the ground. Where we get ammo?
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
There's random places around here. Uh-oh. Creeper? Oh no.
You know what I'm gonna do? Let me. Or no, if I do that, it might log me out. I was gonna say I can install this while we're playing this. That way, it's running pretty good on here. I guess.
Oh, what the? I just walked through the door. That was cool. I walked through an open door.
Okay, we got one zombie in this room. Oh, look outside. Look at that. They look comfy. Oh. Wow, that is a bright light.
Wow, that is, yeah. What's this?
Why are the doors open like this? Are these like spawn points for the enemies? That's probably what it is. Like that? But that's not the only door doing it.
Yep.
Now, I ain't gonna lie, man. First few seconds into the game, we got wrecked.
I see. You
We
see him
gotta
out
get
of
in the
nowhere
elevator
just grab
now.
somebody, just pound him to the ground. Like, what the fuck is that? Oh shit!
Works for me.
Double barrel shotgun.
What happened to my machine gun? Oh, I still got it.
Reloading.
Molotovs. I need Molotovs for sure.
You know, I just realized my character looks like a Bill, but it's a chick. Yo, Left 4 Dead 3 would be awesome, man. They need to just stop lying to us and just release the game already. Oh boy, behind us.
Push the elevator button. Fresh ammo. God damn it, stop!
I just refilled my ammo and I'm already out already. What the heck?
Oh, E is the... I don't know. I think I want to make the F to be the action key, not this.
I'm here.
How is it on the controller, Solid? Do you like it?
Yes, sir. I'm doing really good on the controller.
I think I did better with this on the controller than I... Well, no, I mean, aiming-wise, I'm aiming better, but, like...
Ow!
Vector coming in.
Oh, no, you don't. Oh, no, you don't. Oh, they're coming. They're coming. Oh, man, our health goes fast. Oh, I gotta disinfect. What? Oh, I got the coronavirus. Hold on. Oh, man, I was lagging for a second. What's this zombie doing?
Working.
Oh, she did a T-pose on me.
The elevator?
Yeah, did you call it? You mean you guys didn't call the elevator the whole time?
Oh, I need help. I need help.
Yo, look how this going, guys.
Going down.
Yeah, I felt a little lag there for a second.
Look at this zombie. His foot went through the table.
Wow.
Come on, creep.
Oh, wow.
Get in here. We stay together.
Oh, we just gotta go to the elevator, guys. Did everybody grab ammo? Reload?
What I could get. They don't give me no ammo for my secondary weapon, which sucks.
No, it don't?
Nope.
Oh, wow, that sucks. Yeah, you're right.
I did.
That's okay. I know Kelso's installing it right now anyway, so by the time we get to the next level, he'll be ready.
How can it be installed?
Oh, yeah, you're right. It's not on Game Pass. Dang it, I keep forgetting that.
Come on now, creep. I know your ass is there.
Where are you going? Get in here.
Maybe that's his way of telling me to get out of the game stream. Chat.
Oh, well.
Dan, you there?
Oh, we thought we left it alone.
We're headed down.
Yeah, he was outside. I'm like, oh no.
Right?
He just like magically appeared into the...
Your heads will be here by now. I'm gonna wait it out, but I'll keep an eye out for
Oh
you.
no, this area, no.
Oh, this area. This is what I saw in the benchmark. You see all those down there, Solid? You ready, bro? Wait, how do we crouch? Oh. It's not even C, it's left control.
Christ, you seeing this? Goddamn Thanksgiving Day
Whoa,
parade.
look at all that.
Keep moving,
God damn.
shitbirds. Parties in the Bronx.
It's a bunch of...
Oh, wow. What is that, water outside?
I don't know.
Oh, that's zombies. Wait, no, what is that? Why does it look like water in the middle?
Right?
Is that water?
No, that's zombies. Can
Wow.
we go closer and look at it?
Yeah, we're gonna have to look at that closer because it looks like water to me.
Ooh.
Oh man, why did it get so hot in here? Hold on, I gotta.
Oh, so I changed the weapon, I get 1 bullet. That's cool.
Oh,
I got a
What
flamethrower.
a rip-off. There's a crossbow, if anybody it's a crossbow. That's a rip-off. What a rip-off game, man.
Yeah, that is zombies.
This is gonna be the fun part.
Holy crap.
Hey, do we have to crawl or? Man, we're all low health, man. Except for Solid. Solid's going beast mode. We're going. Me and Jim are going rookie mode here. And we're on mouse and keyboard, bro. Like we're supposed to show an example to the BC Master Race. We're looking bad.
Another flamethrower? What? Ooh.
I mean, Solid came and wrecked the big zombie, resurrected us all, and all that good stuff. Ooh, flamethrower. Wait, when you grab it, does it disappear?
No.
How do we ping? Can we ping?
No, I don't think so.
I think there is, but I'm not sure. If somebody picks it up, yeah, it's gone. So it's like one person gets to use it.
Got health over here.
I need health.
Okay, you could use 1, 2, or 3 to switch weapons. You don't have to.
We go this way. I'm hurt pretty bad. I got your back.
There we go.
Forget it.
4. Combat shotgun, assault rifle. But if I switch weapons, it's not going to give me no ammo anyway, so what's the point?
Right.
1 bullet, wow. Then it says my ammo is full, but it's full from my first gun.
That's a lot of zombies down there. Kind of reminds me of, what is it, Dead Rising?
I haven't played that in a minute.
Man, I didn't play the new one, man. The new one came out?
I only played the first one.
Oh, here's frag grenades, guys, if you need them.
I got a grenade launcher on my back, so I can blow them up.
All good.
Holy moly.
Who, what?
There's so many of them.
Wait, the water's gone.
That was a whole bunch of zombies.
It looked like Parasite Eve, like the whole liquid, like mitochondria type deal.
Okay, are we ready for this battle?
I killed all 3 of them up here.
Am I the only one following Solid? Look at the AI following Jim. You got a buddy.
Stop following me.
Oh, this music is creepy, bro. Oh, what the? Oh, we gotta be quiet, right? We got the melee. How does that work?
We ain't gonna be able to melee all those.
Ooh.
I like it. You give them everything you got.
Oh boy, here they come. Here they come.
They're climbing on each other.
Who did it?
Hit the
Oh
bottom.
shit.
I got you, Solid. I got you, bro. I got you, man.
The elevator shaft should be safe to get down.
Yeah, I got your back. Got your back.
Oh no, big dude.
Oh, where is he? Oh, Solid.
Hey, someone give him a hand.
I got you, man. Stay with me. Stay with me.
I'm hearing a lot of action from your way.
Working on it.
I paid you back for that revive you did to me earlier. Oh shoot! Or AI needs help. Oh, what the?
Big dude's up here again.
I see him.
Hold on, guys. I got a big zombie on me.
Can anyone hear me? Help!
Oh, I'm dead.
Get off.
Man, when he grabs you, that's it. That's all. We're all.
I'm down. Need
Mm.
Beast.
I need.
That's it? Yeah, that is.
That was unexpected. I didn't even know you can do that.
Okay,
What's up, Shane?
All right, let's see who did good. Or well, we just missed it.
Yep.
All right, we're leveling up though, so that's good.
still had the time remaining from the last one.
Oh, this is like a game where we could get a lot of stuff.
It still shows me in there, what?
It does? Oh, did you crash?
No, I had to relaunch it because I ran out of time. My trial period thing ran out.
I thought you had the
But
3
yeah,
months.
I just got it after. So
Oh, okay. All right.
So I had the game already launched, and I got it while the game was launched.
Okay. All right, guys, give me 1 second. We're just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna reset this here real quick. Yeah, we gotta reset this here real quick, guys. Bear with me. Also, while this is here, let me check something. It's weird. Look at Project Zero. Oh wait, is that the War Witch? I think it is. It looks like it. What happened to my What happened to my Epic launcher? What the heck?
Uh-oh, what happened?
I don't know. I had to restart my game. Give me 1 second.
Oh, you too?
Yeah, I just restarted it. Screw it, since Jim had to restart it. Hold on. Okay, so technically this should be working. I don't know why it's not, but okay. Ay, 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 ay. There you go, Jim. I like those emotes. Little cat kind of reminds me of cat dog. All right, I'm coming back in now. That was weird. Cat dog. Oh, I meant to turn the fan on. That's what I meant to do. Alright, hold on.
Yeah, I got gifted a sub in somebody's channel, so I got all kinds of emotes.
Oh, there.
Ooh, some gun skins, nice.
Should be getting in here now, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's okay? All right, let's go. Oh, my game looks way freaking better now. I like this. Okay. All right, let's get you guys back in the house. We all gotta wear a blouse. Oh.
So we all got 35 points.
What we did? Oh.
That's rip off. Of course he did fail, so.
No, we fail? I don't even think fail is even the word.
We didn't even get past the second part of the whole thing.
Solid, you're supposed to carry us, bro. What happened?
Well, you got grabbed. Somebody got grabbed from the air and got pounded to the ground. He just came out of nowhere, like, where the fuck you
I
came
was
from?
shooting him and he took out our other teammate, and then I got downed by other zombies trying to kill that big dude.
Shit.
All right, let me know when you guys got your characters. If we keep getting the gun skins in this game, right? What game looks nice, Jim? Oh, which one? Oh, the gun skins?
Guns, yeah.
Weapons customizations. As you use weapons, new versions of these weapons will become available to you. Here, you can buy versions of weapons you unlocked. You can specify what versions you wish to find during gameplay. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I used to love? I used to love that, what cartoon was that? The one that goes like, I can't get the name of it right now. The one that goes like, ha ha ha. I am Shujinko.
We have been streaming for 5 hours.
Yes, we have indeed, and we have done one level in the meantime. Alright, I'm good. I'm not worried about weapon customizations, because obviously we need points, and we ain't got points because we barely played, so let's get back. Let's hit play. We're going to do the first level. Everybody got their character? You guys are readied up? Alright, let's go. Let's get wrecked again. Hey, we got to do the whole level, though?
Yep. Yeah, on that one you need like grenade launchers and just blow them all up while they're behind the wall.
Like,
Yeah, I was
really?
trying, but then I got down.
Wow, far out, man.
And my flamethrower don't reach so far, so I can't kill them that way.
That's not good, bro. It doesn't reach far? That's not good. We got to make it reach.
Oh no.
I think this is harder than Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
And all we did, the only like big enemy we fought against was the, well, no, we had the infector or whatever they call it, the infection, the infector, and then we had the, what is the name of that creature? The one that's smacking us on the ground, the brute, the tank, or
I think it's like the brute. I think they call it the brute.
whatever it's called. Yeah. All right, we got this. We got this. Let's keep team formation, guys.
I will leave your ass here.
Nobody is leaving.
Look at that.
They're gonna steamroll the army and then they'll be back. This is our only chance to get out.
Not going into the subway.
Oh, we could skip it. Okay, I didn't know that.
We will starve here. The subway is our only chance. We take it to Inwood. Get to the
Zero's like, ooh,
fuck out of New York.
what the hell you type?
We die here.
Just press zero.
Zero?
Zero, yep.
Such a weird keybind, bro. This game is weird with keys in general. Like, definitely not a PC game. I look at Solid. He's ready. He's like, yo, let's go.
Arr. Heard him, no noise.
Dan, you hear me?
Hey, what's up? I don't see you guys on the roof.
We're going for it. Trying the subway to Inwood. Over.
Yeah, really? I don't... maybe the grunts will wipe him out on the front. Guys?
Spotted a sneaky bastard. You gotta keep him close by.
Help me! Hey, someone give him a hand!
Oh man, you're trying to get out of couch and you get hit. That sucks.
Oh.
No.
You went upstairs, you went after Trix, you come after Trix, no!
Follow me!
Wow, I got infected. That brute's just trying to... Uh-oh. Well, I'm in a zombie now. Was he at AFK or what happened to him?
Ouch.
Damn.
The heavy
Get
guy.
over here. I need help.
What happened to you, Trix?
Man, I tried to run backwards, man. No, I ain't gonna lie. I had a phone call real quick. I tried to answer it, and that was bad. That was bad. I even ran back to the beginning, thought I was gonna be safe just for like a couple seconds.
Yeah, no, he went straight for you.
Damn, bro. He like knew exactly where I was.
He went straight for you.
I got infected by the infector.
Oh, the infector. That's the name of one of them.
That thing's annoying too.
Oh, man. Now, let's see here. Hold on. We're going to have to start this round.
You only got it at high? What?
No, I'm bumping it down, bro, because I feel like I'm lagging a little bit. I don't know why. The benchmark was fine.
I had a little bit of lag.
Yeah, it's like periodically it happens. Not all the time, but it's kind of annoying me. Like, I'm not used to that because, like, I'm used to playing with, like, smooth gameplay. So it's like, now this is like, so I'm just going to turn shadows down because I really don't care about it. Anti-aliasing will keep it the way it is. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what's causing it. I bumped it down to 60 FPS. I think it's this animation. That might be what's called. I'm going to keep it on default. All right. All right, let's try it again.
The delay is real.
You said what?
The delay for me getting into the thing. I see it on your stream before I actually get into the.
Wait, really?
Yeah, it's really.
Oh, wow. Hmm.
What?
Oh, that's interesting.
I'm gonna stick with Exterminator, I guess. Yeah, I don't know why it's such a big delay, but man, that's a huge delay. See, I'm still at the lobby. Now I'm finally getting in.
Were you guys ready for this?
Are you?
Nope. While this loads, I'm grabbing something. I'll be close. I got the headphones on so I can hear you. Okay.
Of course,
It's still loading? Jeez.
Should be, so yeah.
Who, what?
My internet's like half speed that it should be, so I'm getting cut.
Well, remember, you're doing this way, too. That takes your internet up.
So yeah, I'm basically probably getting maybe like 20 megabytes download
Not
speed,
going
so
into
yeah.
the subway.
Oh, shoot.
Because I get, right now I've been getting around 50 or
All
60.
right, we'll go ahead and skip this. Go ahead, Jay. Here, hold the enter. All right, let's go, guys. Let's play for real. Let's go.
Oh, that Trix is gonna do it, okay.
Yeah, I ain't playing, bro. I'm serious.
Don't make a sound.
We can't jump in this game? I don't like games you can't jump. It feels weird.
Dan, you hear me?
Hey, what's up? I don't see you guys on the roof.
We're going for it. Trying the subway to Inwood. Over.
Yeah, really?
Man, somebody was noisy.
I don't maybe the grunts will wipe him out on the fronts. Guys?
Oh, Sally's out. Got you, bro. Got you, bro.
You were trying to take my ass cheeks.
Oh man, people trying to take that ass cheeks. Not good, man. Must be stacking some TP in there. That's your secret hiding spot, bro.
TV from my bunghole.
Oh, they're coming behind us too. Be careful. To the left. To the left now, y'all. One shot this time. Now reload. Let's go back to shoot.
Oh wow, I like that zombie how it split around the corner. That was cool.
Oh, they're gonna be coming from the room to the right here. We gotta be careful. Oh, here they go. Here they go. Oh! Oh, here goes the big guy. Careful. Tyler, behind you. Solid, you okay, bro? Hold on, I can't get you yet, bro. You got some. Okay, that zombie blew a fart. Hold on, I gotta let the air out of it. If you can't get in there yet. There you go. Now go ahead. You should be clear.
When you trying to revive me, you trying to give me a pep talk?
Right. Up here to go.
Oh, I blew his arms off.
No big guy?
Oh no! Oh, it hurts! It hurts! Now, whoever threw that grenade, you came in with the clutch.
I'm reloading.
You're welcome.
Oh, behind us! Oh no! Oh, that grenade! Oh no! Oh no! Man, dude, we're getting wrecked, bro.
Right.
Just got forward.
Oh, what is going on? Are we that bad at video games, or?
Oh.
Man.
Shit.
Well,
We-
it's supposed to be a 4-player game, and we're only getting 3, so.
Should I put the AI with us? This rate, I think we should. Look, Solid's number 1, bro. He ain't playing.
Like opposite directions. 2 people looking behind us, 2 people looking in front. So we don't get ganked. I might actually have to change my category too of my character, because, yeah, this one's not that great. I
No?
got a shotgun. My class kinda.
You want me to wait for a second? Because Solid's ready. Just let me know when you're ready, Zero.
Okay, let's see what I want. Okay, I'm gonna do this one. Okay, I'm ready.
You ready? All right, let's go. What happened? What is going on?
Class, but a different one.
All right, we gotta stick together. We did good up to that elevator part.
Alright, no more rushing.
No more rushing. Let's go American. You ready?
Yeah.
All right.
American.
Yeah.
Alright.
Just not New York though.
Oh, and that's actually where we're at too, so that's even worse.
I know, that's what's like.
But we're playing a game in New York, and you know well, even Florida. I think Florida's even doing it bad too. Like if you don't live in Florida or have a Florida ID, you can't get in.
Yeah, my state's in the top 15, so we got like 4,000 cases now. So we're dominated it too. I'm gonna go to Hawaii.
Yeah, right?
There's only like 100 or like what, 200 cases there or something like that. I think last time I see.
Then they'll be back. This is our only chance to get out.
Not going into the subway.
Uh-oh,
You've heard the
spotty connection.
stories.
We will starve here. The subway is our only chance. We take it to Inwood, get to the evac center, and get the fuck out of New York. Or we die here.
Kelsa said,
Right.
feel like competing with Cali.
Oh, Cali, I know. I see them pretty bad too. But nobody's close to New York or New Jersey. Nobody's will catch them.
Dan, you hear me?
Hey, what's up? I don't see you guys on the roof.
We're going for it. Trying the subway to Inwood. Over.
Yeah, really? I don't. Maybe the grunts will wipe him out on the fronts.
Oh, what the hell? Why is this shoot? think we got silencers anyway on the weapons. All right, let's go nice and easy, guys. Look, they crawl through vents, doors. It's crazy, bro. I gotta turn my sensitivity down. My sensitivity was way too high.
Got the creeper.
All right, we can't mount on the walls. Sorry, nice and easy. There you go. There you go. All right, let's check the rooms to the right. No, there's no room in there, but there's somebody in there that I can hear them. Good one, solid. All right, we're clear. Let's crouch. Let's start get the crawling going. All right, there's gonna be zombies here to the right. Maybe we can sneak on them. Try to get some sneak kills. Oh, AI just started shooting.
Creeper taken out.
He's talking without his mouth moving. How'd he do that? He must be like one of those puppeteers, knows how to talk puppets without moving his lips. Even the rats in New York got it? What? Well, I've been hearing there was a tiger at a zoo that got something. Or got the virus. And then there was, yeah, animals getting it too. That's crazy, bro.
Stairs are out. Push through to the elevator.
Hey, elevator it is. Nice and easy. This is, so we gotta sneak in this game. That's what we gotta do. Come on, Solid. Get your aim right, bro. Come on, man. Dude. Oh, Breck, he's coming. Get him, Solid. Get him, Solid. What the hell are you doing? Okay, good job. All right, who shot the zombie in the leg?
I did.
Oh, they're coming in. Careful.
We made too much noise.
Hey, I'm reloading.
What? Oh, I thought it said communicate with your teammates using social distancing. I thought that's what it said. Oh. Holy shoot! Who threw the grenade? Oh, God!
Stop shooting.
Oh, behind you, Solid. Got him. Oh. Get him.
Stay together. Creeper's close.
You did, man.
Jeez, that hurted. Oh. Right, close enough. All right, guys, we're looking good. Check the rooms. Turn my volume up. What's my volume on? It's pretty low. Why is it so low? Why am I lagging right here? Like,
Yeah, I'm lagging right here too.
I put the music down low.
do you lag right here, Solid, when you walk by here? I think it's the lighting. I think that's what it is. Let me go to video.
Lag?
It's not like heavy.
I don't think so.
Okay, that's all me.
Call
Just
the
like,
elevator.
oh. Holy, that scared me.
I mean, it's not annoying. It was just like a spike. All right, Solid, you okay? We're clear, but I think once we press that button, they're gonna start coming. So let's reload. Get ready. All right, I'm reloaded. Up behind us.
Fresh ammo coming up.
Elevator coming up.
Ooh, there's a lag spike.
Hazmat inbound. Blast.
Oh no, infectish! No.
Reloading.
I think we took it out.
Look out for the ball.
You got affected too.
Oh, big man's coming. Watch it. Watch the right lane. Oh, elevator's open, guys. Go.
Loading ammo.
Solid, don't be a hero. Hi, AI. He take too long. Huh? How'd he do that? Wow, he moonwalked.
He teleports.
We're headed down.
You got that TP too, bro.
Now you coming? Over.
I got food and booze for a month. I'm gonna wait it out, but I'll keep an eye out for you.
All right, we did this part last time.
Oh my God. There's no other way out.
There's the water again. Look like water, man.
Yeah, but it's those zombies.
What's this? A crate? Nobody checks the crates.
Holy Christ. You seeing
Somebody with
this?
a sniper rifle?
Frag grenades to the left here in the building in the store.
Parade.
Keep moving, shitbirds. Party's in the Bronx.
Okay, now they look like zombies, but they're moving so fast.
There's so many of them that, yeah, that's what it looks like.
The way they running, bro, is like, I don't know, not the best work, but I mean, that's me being picky. I know the tactic that they're using, but hey, it is what it is. It's all right. Not like they're coming in here anyway. It's just the outside texture.
Gotta be quiet here.
Look, a rocket launcher.
Take a look at this.
I got a grenade launcher, so I don't really need that, but somebody can take it. You want a rocket launcher?
Rocket launcher?
Yeah, it's right behind you.
I like it.
All right, let's go. Got an RPG?
I just, like,
I'm gonna stay right here while they try to climb to you.
There's another RPG right there. Oh wait, we got machine guns and stuff here, guys. Look, solid.
Yeah,
Oh, he already grabbed one. He's already on it. I think I'm gonna go with the No, that's SMG silencer, but I think I'll.
Anybody want seconds? Works for me.
Forget it.
Oh, when you quick swap, it only lets you do primary and then.
heavy primary and secondary.
I've been saving this bad boy.
Okay, I'll do this one. I gotta give it that shotgun.
Alright, so we're gonna have to stay up here on the top. And let me get the silencer on so we can kill these zombies one by one. Zombies down. Jeez, I don't know why I wasn't shooting. Good job, Solid. Oh, nice, nice. Alright, probably gonna have another one get up here. Get ready.
Right here. I shot that one in the ass cheek.
Nice, nice. Left or right?
Alright. I'm gonna go on that bridge, and when they try to climb up, it says use grenade launcher.
Yeah, that's the best thing to do.
Alright, nice and easy, team. We got this. Remember, just like that song always said, one step at a time. Yo, when I turn the camera on, man, like sometimes it's like.
You wanna make a commotion on that side, Trix?
Huh?
Make some commotion on that side?
Yeah, yeah, let me go back the other way. Wait, how the heck do we get down? Oh, we don't go down.
You don't. That's
Oh.
me killing these zombies.
Alright, well, commotion.
Social anxiety is treatable. We can help you. See your doctor at psychhelpny.com.
Alright,
Commotion. I got a C4 down there.
you got a C4 down there?
Yep.
Sweet. Oh, I see it too. Alright, are we ready?
Yeah.
3. Oh, that's the way to do it. Wait, didn't even move? Oh, well, now they are. Oh, God. Wait, why are they coming up on me?
Oh, behind me.
Oh, what the?
Elevator shafts open on the far side of this floor.
Guys, they're climbing up.
Ow, what the? Yeah. We got bombarded from behind.
I'm reloading.
Shooting and stuff. That's teammates.
Okay, okay. Yep, I can't hold it down. Yep, they breached. They're coming inbound.
Oh, I just knocked it through the roof. Sweet. Oh no, thank you. Thank you.
Well, where's that big guy?
I just killed him.
Behind you, Solid.
Alright.
Is there health kits or anything around us?
No. Not what I know of. All right, we did it.
I need meds.
How the hell do we get down?
Anyone have a med
Oh, elevator.
My partner in crime.
Okay, I'm moving in. I'm moving in. So far, we're clear.
When we get outside, don't stop until we hit the subway.
Oh, the health kit's down here, guys. Huh?
You're getting random leg spikes here.
Yeah, me too. I think it's the game, bro. Cause there's no way.
Oh, look, defense kits. Oh, chainsaw over here.
Ooh, crossbow.
Simple but effective.
I feel like Daryl now. Chainsaw. Ooh.
Chainsaw.
Isn't there a song about that? Bit about the chainsaw, huh? Look at the chopper.
Guys, I'm seeing a swarm coming straight for you. Right down Broadway.
Machine gun turret ready.
Auto turret ready.
Gotta be something.
Ooh.
Auto turret ready.
Somebody gotta activate that. Oh man, how many oh my god, prepare defense in 40 seconds.
Well, that means it's about to get serious, boys. I hope you're ready.
Oh, there's some acting with it.
I don't think we can get any more defense. Is that it?
That's it, yep.
20 seconds.
Oh, this is gonna be interesting.
All right.
Get ready!
You're rat food now.
Whoa, look, they're coming. Oh shit!
Ooh, man, they don't care.
Oh, they're coming over the gate.
Oh man, the lag spikes is real. Holy mackerel.
Oh, they're coming over the gate.
Oh, right lane. Oh, behind us. What the? Oh, where'd you guys go?
Good, that's good.
Get the revives, Jay. Oh, I'm down.
Help!
Did you guys all go down? Oh, I got one of you up.
Oh, yeah.
Damn.
Somebody!
Oh, don't tell me I gotta do all that again.
I hope not.
I tried to throw my grenade, man. Middle mouse button, right? Didn't throw a grenade.
I think I would have changed that to G or something like that.
Shit.
Alright, so I got Helping Hand. Solid's got Slayer. Zero has Special Slayer. Slasher is our bot. Solid is a Demolition, Headhunter, Explorer, and I'm a Survivalist. Alright. Man.
I do like that class better, but we really need a fourth.
Yeah.
That bot just stands around, does nothing. He's like,
Oh, the bot is useless. What are we gonna do?
Oh, it's already 3 o'clock.
Oh boy. I think I might know what the problem is. I had the game on hard. Let's put it back to normal.
That's what you did that? Really? You did that to us?
Well, the zombie threat level and friendly fire sensitivity are increased. There are less supplies spread throughout the map. Not really a big disadvantage, just... But normal, you start with med kits. The zombie threat level is normal and friendly fire is normal, minimum. So I think we're killing each other or something. That
Probably, yeah.
So we'll do normal, screw it, just so we can beat this game. Oh gosh. My bad, guys. Because you know, some games normal is too easy. So I put hard because it was the middle skull, you know what I'm saying? I figured maybe it was like the middle medium level.
Now in this game, now when you got like 9,000 zombies coming.
Yeah. Now I see what the problem was.
Plus we got a bot too, so that makes it even harder because we're trying to play 3.
Well, I probably could just take the bot out actually, since we're just us.
He don't even rescue us either. If one of us is down, he just stands there.
Wow. He's probably calculating. You know, he's probably trying to remember what the developers script him to do.
00111001111. They need help. I'll stand here, do nothing. He wasn't even shooting half the time. I was like, what are you doing?
Wow.
He just followed me around most of the time, and he was like, get away from me, dude. Just quit following me. If you're not going to shoot me anybody, quit following me.
God damn it, Bunko. I will leave your ass here.
Nobody is leaving anybody.
They're going to steamroll the army, and then they'll be back. This is our only chance to get out.
Not going into the subway. You've heard the stories.
We will starve here. The subway is our only chance. We take it to
Keep it
Inwood,
in.
get to the evac center, and get the fuck out of New York. Or we die here.
I don't like him, but he's right.
Yeah, we can't lose this night, guys. If we lose on normal, there's no other room for error on that one. That means we're just bad.
Dan, you hear me?
Hey, what's up? I don't see you guys on the roof.
We're going for it. Trying the subway.
Oh, I did change the grenade button.
Grab what you can and regroup at the elevator. Throwing the grenade.
Who threw the grenade?
Uh,
So you do this all.
that was a nice grenade. Dang.
Grenade and C4 on top of that.
Where are you hiding, creeper?
We gotta get in the elevator.
Oh, what the?
Get off!
Super fired, right, Kelso? It's crazy. Oh, well, thank you. Watch out behind you.
I shot the bot.
Hold on. Let me put some adobo on my arm so I can fix myself. All right, let's go.
Oh, what the? No.
We gotta get in the elevator
That
now.
was easy.
Yeah, real easy, right?
I was trapped. Too.
Elevator's on its way.
I was gonna die.
All right, how we looking, guys? How we looking? Elevator's open. Let's go.
Wrong floor, assholes.
Wow, that's much easier. Look, we're not even getting attacked. Okay.
A gun is a gun.
Now it feels too easy.
Did you see all the changes they made on last year?
Dan, you there?
I logged in, but it didn't give me the points like you said.
Down. Out of food. Gotta go now.
Yeah,
you
it was
coming?
the 6th.
Over.
They did the 6th.
Look, I got food and booze for a month. Jawheads will be here by now. I'm gonna wait it out.
He headed to
I'll
the
keep
6th
an
to
eye
get
out
it.
for you.
On the 6th?
But they changed so much of the game though.
Get through that.
Silent.
Now they can't body block no more, so
Oh, okay.
Holy Christ. You seeing this? Goddamn Thanksgiving Day parade.
Not as boring.
Okay, let's get going.
yeah, when I read that I was like, oh man, I want to play the game now.
Yeah, right.
Because they got rid of the body block for your teammates too, so they can't like get you killed.
Sound like somebody crying. All right, let's do this. Oh, they're coming from over here.
Ah, hold up.
Oh, there's zombie farted, and I'm blind.
Yeah, you farted me too.
Did everybody get
Oh,
some?
dude, that's me too.
Yeah, fits like a...
Oh boy, it's showtime.
Damn, he died already? Oh, I'm about to say.
We've got an infect...
Well, that's not good. Where is he? No, Zero's down.
Infector coming in!
That was easy.
Yeah, that was easy. Wow. All right, let's go. Right, Kelso. Uh-oh, Project Zero Kelso. What's going on? Well, now power through tonight. Did Hope Insomnia actually works for once for me? I hope it does for you, Kelso. I really do. I'm gonna head down.
Playing hard this whole time.
Yep.
You're rat food now.
Normal is cool. At least we get the normal experience, right?
Until we hit the subway.
Yeah.
Here.
That bot's like
Anything to
falling
slow them down.
Guys, see the swarm coming straight for you. Which direction? Right down Broadway.
Auto turret set. Nice to have a little help, huh?
Automatic turret set.
All right. What other traps do we have to set up?
This one here's set up already. See, just Superman did I see.
Right. There's nothing down there.
Nope, that's it.
Oh no! What happened? Will we survive this time? Will we survive this time? Will we survive? I don't know.
Alright, let's go.
Let's go. Let's do it. What we got? How many seconds? And they come behind us too, so be ready.
I'm gonna play with this car.
Creeper on the loose!
No!
Thanks. All good.
They're climbing the gate!
Shit! More coming in!
Oh, I'm getting hit. Oh, shit.
Oh, get out of here. Stinky. Stinky, stinky, stinky. Behind you, Zero. Or Solid.
There's enough for everybody! Reloading!
Gonna get himself killed.
Hazmat over here!
You man. Oh, behind you guys, hold up. We got minimum friendly fire. We got this. What the heck was the ammo crate at? Oh, right here.
Oh, big guy.
Oh, what the shit? Wow! Guys? Oh, God.
Thought he had me there.
I don't got the big gun no more. Oh.
Holy shoot. Oh, there's another one. This AI get his butt out of my face. I think we almost... Oh, I gotta shoot the big guy here. Yeah, go for the AI. You got this. Oh, whoa. What the heck? Watch it, yep.
Can we make it across to the subway?
It ain't gonna get better. Watch yourselves down there.
This
Nice
is-
notorious wackadoo.
Thanks. Take care of yourself, Dan.
Whoa.
To better times.
this right
Over.
here?
Better
Oh,
times.
that's nice.
Over
Favorite
now.
rifle.
Hit the button.
Oh, we can restock ammo on these too.
Stock everything you want, man. Let's go. We got this.
Maybe I should refill this idiot.
No turning back now.
Who, what?
Thanks.
Classic battle rifle. That's primary. Okay, I don't want that.
Keep moving!
We're going outside?
Yep.
Yep.
That's
All
what
right.
it looks like.
Let's go. Oh, we're outside, Solid. You ready, bro?
It's a shotgun right here.
Take a look at this.
Assault shotgun. Yeah, we could get there.
Go! Go!
Go what? Clear the station of zombies? All right, let's go. Let's go. What, Solid, you in trouble? Not good, bro. Oh. Yeah, my stomach's growling. What the heck? Got a little spike there. Alright, good stuff, guys. Good stuff.
Case is seriously packing. Spotted a creepy bastard. Sneaky Zeke is close.
How do I use my the virus thing? Okay. Oh, got you, Solid. Don't worry, you're good.
Clear the train.
Get back, you smelly bastards!
Well, you know what? This is kind of like a co-op game, though. I mean, we haven't really like a break from all that competitive, like
Right?
shooters, getting headaches of hacker. You know what I'm saying? This is more of a lay back, chill, have a good time, watch your friend get wrecked, laugh about it. You know, stuff like that.
Who the hell just shot at my train? Get in here!
Hey, who's-
My PC hasn't shut down yet either.
Well, now with this, I hope not.
If it shuts down with this, I'm gonna just.
Yeah, then you're done. But that's why I said do it this way, bro. Because if you did it the other way, it'll overheat. We don't want to cause that right now. You know.
I did play Sea of Thieves for about a half an hour the other day, and it loaded fine and stayed fine, but.
We need you to drive this thing to Inwood. Shit ain't free, SA.
Oh, he just called you essay. You gonna let him talk to you like that, Solid?
To me.
A little vato.
Hola, de Holmes. You look like he's trying to talk to you like the blood in, la onda. You know what I'm saying, man?
Oh, you got
I
that.
thought you were about to locos for life.
Get ready!
Oh, get ready for what? Oh, are they coming from here? No, they're coming behind us. Yep, they're coming around. Oh, we gotta go downstairs. Or no, wait. We gotta protect both sides?
They're coming in from the door.
Yeah, I'm gonna go the other way because it looks like there's a reach area. Oh, Solid's over there.
Yeah, I got one box.
Solid, I don't want you to be able to by yourself, bro. I'm coming. Jim, stay with the bot. Alright, I'm coming. Oh, I can't get through, Solid.
Infector coming in! No more infector!
Alright, you said you got the box?
We gotta deliver it.
Alright, I got it.
So,
Grab
what
the supply
happens,
box.
Right,
Heading
when the
back with it.
armored grunts turn armored zinc.
Ooh, battle rifle. Ooh.
Ooh.
We'll try that one. Okay, so I got one supply crates. I can't carry two though. And of course the bot uses that carried anything because he don't know how to do nothing.
Good slaying comment, right? Oh man, so we got one crate. Where'd you guys go? Oh, we gotta deliver them. Okay. Let me bring it down then.
Box. Oh, you guys are the best.
This guy got the window open? No, we can't shoot him. You guys look like mercenaries. I don't trust them.
For you.
Much obliged.
Wow, what a butthead.
Got a zombie coming in.
There's two crates in here where I'm at.
Found another box. Time to go.
Screamer! Take him out!
Jeez.
Kill this people. Ah! Ow.
Oh, you guys are the best.
What the heck?
Infector coming in!
So everybody's going north for the big freeze, huh?
I did
Smart.
what you said.
Until the big... All aboard who's coming aboard!
Alright, reload your ammo, guys.
Oh, we're making too much noise. They're gonna.
Oh!
We gotta go now!
Do you want to try?
Now hold!
Sure.
Ooh, we got lucky.
Claws that catch. Who'll be wearing a jabber on my son?
He sound like the Joker from Batman.
Crazy son of a bitch with a train.
Wow, he loves life. He needs to pass us out down. Pass it over here.
Finally finished with that one. And it's time
Boom, boom.
for me to go to sleep.
Alright. Alright, so how does this work when we beat levels?
I don't know.
Oh, I got them all. Look at that.
Oh, we got much more points that time for finishing it. Oh, much better. So what do you guys think about normal?
Let's try normal until we get better.
It's actually doable.
Yeah, it's doable. That's weird though how much variation there is between normal and hard.
And that's just hard. There's still 2 more levels after that.
I know. What?
Like, I never like picking the last one because it's usually like handicap where the AI is just like ridiculous and then... Alright, so we got our points. So... Okay, so we're on episode 1 New York, we're on tunnel vision. So let me look at that level so next time we play. Hold on. Tunnel vision, where the heck is that at?
I know.
Doesn't even show it on here.
get to choose melee weapon too. I want to get a weapon here. I want to get this shovel. Unlock it with the DLC. Oh, okay.
But that means next time we come on, we can only choose the episode. We can't really choose. Or does it remember?
Well, hopefully she'll remember.
Well, let's find out. Let's hit escape. We go back to... Oh, it shows... Okay, I see here it shows New York. It shows a check on it. It shows that we completed that. So how do we switch it? Oh, I see it now. Oh, okay. Yeah, so yeah, we can start back where we left off next time.
Alright, yeah, we're gonna do that. 'Cause it is probably 3:30.
Heck yeah, man.
Get a little Call of Duty in tomorrow.
Right?
Play some of this. Still gotta hop on some Call of Duty. I mean, some Resident Evil.
Oh. What's today? Monday or Tuesday? I don't remember anymore. Like, I'm starting to forget what days it is with this whole being quarantine thing.
It's Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
It's Monday in some areas and Tuesday in other areas.
Yeah, right. Very true. Very true.
Right.
Well, we don't want to hold you up too much there, Solid. Appreciate you joining us.
Duncan.
We'll wait till we all get together, set up another time to get on here, and we'll continue on with the story.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good, guys. So we're gonna go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna end the stream now. Thanks for watching. I'm tired as hell. It is 3:30 in the morning.
All right, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and back out of this real quick. Well, before we back out of that, how long have we been on, guys? I don't think we've been on that long. Let me double check. Hold on. All right. Well, make sure you count your sheeps. All right, let me see here for a second.
Makes no sense. It says I have something in collection for Bunku to Tatsumi, but I don't see nothing.
It's not there?
Nope.
Wow.
What the?
Okay.
Oh, that's what it was. It was a video. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. Now if you just had all of the people that wanted to play Risk. Corey's not here. So you never played that game before at all?
Play what?
Risk.
Risk? Nah, I never played it. I mean, I think I remember playing like the board game when I was younger, but never played it on Steam. It seems okay.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing.
Alright, let me see here. Why the heck is it doing that? And why was I just... Wow, I'm going crazy right now. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I was reading the notes on the what they did the last year. They got rid of body blocking from your teammates, so they can't body block you no more. And when you get respawned, you have immunity for like 10 seconds or something like that, so you can't get killed immediately after.
Oh, okay. No more like hunters spawning to. Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Because, yeah, that got annoying.
Yeah, I think in the beginning they try to make it hunter focused, but I think now they're starting to realize like why Dead by Daylight went the way they did, where it's mainly the survivors you need to focus on. You know?
Yeah, because right now the game, the way they had it was pretty bad.
Yeah. I don't know what's wrong with my my chat's being weird. What the heck? Yeah, I think for risk though, I think we should wait till we get more people. Like me, you, Bori, Kelso, everybody, like get it like a large group. Because that's how many players is that? That's like a board game, so I'm assuming that's probably at least like 6 to 8 players.
5 to 6 players, I think.
5 to 6. Okay, yeah, definitely don't want to just do 2. All right, so let me see. What was another game we had? Let me back out of this real quick.
2 to 6 players you can play it.
2 to 6 players, gotcha. Let me just quit this game real fast. It wasn't too bad on here. It's just weird for me because I'm used to like more, but for what it is, bro, not bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. You don't have the system for these games. You just do it this way. It's crazy.
I'm gonna give him some feedback because that was pretty good. It was a little laggy here and there, but that's just...
Yeah, but I think it's the game because it did, like even Division ran great. It doesn't run good on here or like on that game, but that game it did have some hiccups because there's a lot of things spawning. That's why. Okay, so let's figure this out here.
Okay, does Kelso have Dead by Daylight?
I think so, but I think for Xbox.
No.
Oh, look. Yep. Everyone needs to download Dead by Daylight and Smite. I do love Smite, and I still do. I do play it from time to time, like on my own time. I haven't really streamed it in a while. Like, Right, you're like me. I have it for both. I can't wait till crossplay is a full thing, and they let you progress all your progression onto one account. That's what I want. Awesome. Because right now I'm stuck where Xbox, I have everything, and then PC I'm like, ugh.
Same with me.
Man,
I've started playing it on Xbox.
It runs better on PC, but I have everything on Xbox. All my hunters and stuff, and all my progression is like, I don't have anything on PC. I think that's a good idea. Smiter, Dead by Daylight, I think it's great. I would say Sea of Thieves, but I think I want to wait for Solid.
Yeah.
I got a good idea.
We could do a training session with Kelso, though, of course.
Yeah, Kelso's new to it, too, and I think he has. And I think he's been wanting to play, too. We could do a Brigantines. Actually, I really don't want to do Galleon. Galleon's kind of... ugh.
Yeah, and when you train to somebody, you don't really... Yeah,
that's a... Because Galleon is intimidating to other players, and they usually think that you're like a crew ready to battle, and it's like, you know, too bad Sea of Thieves wasn't on here though. But you might crash though. That's the only thing I'm worried about. You're gonna crash. Do you want to try it?
The other day I tried it for about a half an hour. I was running around the island and everything, and it did not crash for like 30 minutes. So we could try it.
Yeah, I talked about retro games too, Kelso. I'll be doing that this week. Wait, today's Tuesday?
Yep.
Oh shoot, let me check Viz real quick. Let me check on the oh man, I forgot about that. I hope I didn't miss my oh no, today's Tuesday in general, like just started Tuesday. Okay.
Yeah, so you won't have it up yet.
Gotcha, I freaked out for a second.
Yeah, I screwed up because I was looking at the time and it was Central Time, and I was supposed to play at 8 o'clock. It was already 8 o'clock my time. Like, oh, so it was like 9 o'clock in Central Time. Like, whoops.
I can never find a thread that actually shows the new schedule. I can never find it. Like, I think he does it and then he deletes it. That's what he does. He redoes it. Okay, that's why. Okay, well, I'll find out later, I guess, because I have no idea right now. Yeah, I do want to.
get mine in the messages.
Yeah, usually he'll. Yeah, when he posts the announcements or whatever. Hmm.
GTA.
I haven't GTA'd in a while.
Me either.
I usually log on for like an hour or so, and then I just kind of.
I don't even get on there.
They added so many new rules, bro. There's so many new rules. They added the gangs are there now. They added turfs. They added I mean, they're all good things. Just more rules to remember and apply to. Like it's like whoa. Right.
Mr. Police Officer, yeah.
Well, let's see. I'm about 2 hours in. I don't know why. I'm kind of craving Smite. I actually think I'm craving Smite. I don't know why. I just feel like you could do like maybe 3 or 4 rounds, and then that would probably end the stream because it's like what each round's about a half hour usually. We could do Sea of Thieves, but I'm just worried about you might crash. At least Smite can be on the you know what, which is great. I think I might have to restart my stream because it looks like it's being weird. I don't know what's wrong with it. Oh, we're glorifying Rent-A-Cop? Oh my gosh. Nah, I do want a GTA 5, but it's like my luck, it's probably the service pool, and I have to wait through a queue anyway. Let's see here.
Yeah, I know we got the forest, but yeah, that one there, we gotta get rid of that one mod.
Yeah, well, like I said, I found my old folder. Man, I am really hungry, man, but I don't want to leave.
You keep talking about food, it'll make me hungry.
I know. I really need to play Rocket League. What I need to do.
Oh man, I want to play that so bad.
I really need to start getting into it, and it's also on this too, so that'll help you so you don't crash. When's your motherboard coming in?
Should be Monday.
Monday? So wait. My son was playing Rocket League. I remember what was it? Robocraft. That was another one too. Robocraft was another one.
I didn't like that one too much. I played that game. I didn't like it at all.
Which one? Robocraft?
Robocraft, yeah, that was kind of dumb.
Yeah, because that one is like, it wasn't bad. I liked the idea of it. It was cool. Like you get to craft their little robots or whatever. Like, but it did have some pay to win elements. Some of it, not really pay to win, but like you can get more things if you paid. Which the game had to make money, and it was free. But then on Xbox, they want to charge you $20 or $10 or whatever the heck it was.
Yeah, I tried it on because I saw it too. Like I'm gonna try that, check it out. I got in there like, not really, no.
Yeah, well let's figure this out real quick. I don't want to do it too long.
Clancy 2 on there too.
I don't know. Let's find out, Tom. Clancy, Division, Breakpoint, Wildlands, Siege. Siege is on here? What the heck? Yeah, that's it. No, none of the which one were you looking for?
The Division 2.
Yeah, it's on here.
It's on there? Oh.
Yeah, how you think? Come on, how you think I was you know in the beginning?
Mine needed an update. Okay, that's cool.
Hey, there's 2 of them. What the heck? Oh, one's you play, one's Epic Games. That's why.
Oh.
Would that matter? Just make sure you do the right one. I think we did you play.
Yeah, we did. Probably does, because if you don't have it on one, you probably can't play it on the other.
Alright, give me a second while I do the nice little beautiful stream titles here. Alright, so
And you finally get to play it on PC, so it looks a lot better.
right.
You can probably aim better too without.
Oh, I know.
this one here. You own this game? No, I don't own the game. I'm gonna steal it. Yes, I own the game. Because this one could be like a 2-hour game.
Yeah. Plus, we gotta beat it anyway.
Yeah. It's got a long ways to go, though.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like the more we do, the more missions we get.
Yeah, right? I'm gonna let you guys do that real quick. I will be right back. All right, give me 1 second. Hold on.
I do want to play Rocket League too. Can I vote for 2 of them?
All right, let me see here. Let's see if I just do.
Yeah, if I played Rocket League, I had to play it on Xbox.
Really?
I don't have it on PC.
It should be under thing.
Yeah, but it's on Steam though, in there.
Oh, you got it for Xbox.
Yeah, I got it for
Oh, okay. Yeah, I forgot about that. I had, so I don't know how, but I got it on both. I don't even remember buying it. Let's see.
Yeah, I got it for Xbox when it was on like a huge sale. It was like $3 or something, so I bought it.
Oh. Okay. Okay. I don't know what the timer was on here. Hold on, I tried to put a poll up for everybody to. Let me see if I had the oh my god, I don't know where it is. Oh, got it. All right.
Lights on here.
I'm gonna pause the timer for a second because I don't think most people knew that I had a poll going on. All right, guys, go ahead and put your votes in right now. I paused it at like 30 seconds. I'm gonna unpause it here in just a moment.
Rocket League, isn't it crossplay?
Yeah. I don't know about matchmaking though, but I heard that it was. So up to higher frames, I don't think it will matter. Not for that kind of game.
You can on PC, but yeah, it's not going to change much here.
Yeah, it's not a shooter. Yeah. Right. We're gonna unpause it now, guys. So we're gonna see what's gonna win. I know what's going on. Bum, bum,
Okay.
bum, 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 bum.
So it says private match.
Wait, what? Oh, private match still?
Yep.
This never mind. Yeah, that's what I was kind of afraid of. I guess that makes sense. But at the same time, it's like, why?
Okay, but you can partner up with anybody on any platform, but...
All right, Smites it's gonna be. So let me go ahead and switch this up here real quick, guys. Give me 1 second.
Oh.
We'll have to find out. I think what I'll do is off stream. We're gonna go ahead and test it out, see what it's on, and then just kind of take it from there.
Yeah,
because even like I said, Dead by Daylight, I was with Solid, and you know he got it for he had the Game Pass on PC, and I'm like, oh, that's cool, crossplay. Let's go for it. Can't find out it's not. I was like, oh, okay. All right. Well, looks like Smite won, so I might do some Smite here for a little bit. Did you still have it installed? Well, that game's crossplay anyway, so if you have it for Xbox, Steam, Nintendo Switch.
But I can play it on this thing, so.
Yeah, it's already on this thing. Just make sure it's updated. Just click it. Just double check. You should be good to go. You have your Steam connected already, right? You don't have to do that.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, cool. Man, so it means you're gonna be able to play Steam at like ultra graphics.
Oh yeah.
Steam is such an old game, anyways. Like I don't think you need much to run it. Even,
I ran this thing pretty good on that 720 or whatever I had.
yeah, right.
I was still getting like 80 frames per second or something with that thing. Okay, I gotta know my count.
Oh, I'm gonna be doing some Star Citizen soon, so brace yourself for that one. But I know you can't do that yet. You'll definitely cry.
I'll fry my PC probably.
Man, what we having? I'll wait till next week. Because I got solid. I'm gonna get solid to try to get it, and then that way there'll be 3 of us. If we can get some others, at least get a group of like 4 or 5, we're set. And especially with like the majority will be like new, so it's gonna be a fun experience. Man,
Remember my password, I'd be happy.
good luck recovering it. Let's see.
Okay, I'm on cheat. Okay. Oh, why does it keep switching me my accounts? Stupid thing, I swear. I hate
Ooh.
Oh, well, you can copy and paste it.
No?
Thank you. Now I gotta check my email so I could get the code.
Wow.
Oh, I just hate Steam so much sometimes.
He will then own a baked potato. Why does that sound good? What time is it? Burger King. Taco Bell's been closed. I promised myself no more fast food. I can't do it, man. Can't do it. Okay then. Well.
How do I launch this game? Do I? Okay.
Yeah, what the heck? Oh, that was weird. Clicked it and it like made me do something else. Weird.
I had to install the game to play it. What?
What? Oh, like wait, what? Through like the Steam store?
Yeah.
Maybe
Really?
maybe they don't have it installed on their servers or on their end because remember you're on a virtual Steam account, so it might have to. Wow, that's weird. Well, hopefully I don't have to. Let me see. And oh boy. Nope, it worked. Okay, good.
Why does it do that to me for? What the heck? Do you have it installed though?
Well, I'm doing it just on here.
That's what I'm doing. It just said it finished installing, but it's not launching the game yet. Okay. Okay, maybe if I leave.
Xbox, here we come. It looks like we're all going to be going on Xbox. Yeah, the 1% Shrouded Ghost Mag, that's true. Have you seen one yet, Jay? I know I haven't. Most of us haven't.
I have been lucky enough to get one of those famous skeletons everybody is looking for.
Yeah.
The one that give you the coins or whatever it is. I found one of them.
Oh, that's good. That is good.
I got stuck on an island for like a half an hour and it actually gave me one of those skeletons spawned.
Man, there's probably so many new gods on here, bro.
Oh, I've seen some of them. I'm like, oh, holy cow.
Yeah, I'm probably not gonna remember it. I'm not gonna know any.
Oh, do you remember how to play it too much?
I know, right?
Ooh. Bright light.
Oh, it's cool. Man, I got nobody online. Wow. Let me check my Xbox out, because I know sometimes it doesn't show my Xbox friends on. Shit, rust covered in my smite fingers. Rust is not even the word. Man, everybody's on Call of Duty, man. Jeez. I don't know, man. I don't mind it sometimes, but man, the hackers in that game is unreal.
Oh, yeah. I seen a guy earlier snipe a guy out of the air when he was caught falling down.
No.
Sniped him again as he was falling and killed him before he hit the ground.
That's not cool.
I don't know how he did it. Like, to me, it seemed like he was hacking to be that accurate.
Right.
Okay, it's working. Yay!
Yay. You got a gift. How'd you get so lucky? How the heck did you get so lucky?
Where's my gift at, though? I don't even see it. Oh, there it is. Okay. The battle points booster. Oh, wow. Cool.
Oh, yeah. It shows Jim Online. Look at that. Oh, look at you with a fancy...
I got that.
Wait, what the heck? How'd I hear you twice? Oh, you're talking in the game? Testing. Oh, I'm talking in the game, too. Oh, shoot. How do we... Settings, audio, voice chat,
Forever, so my settings probably got changed anyway.
Doesn't matter. Full screen borderless because it's technically still full screen, so it doesn't matter. Hey, what the heck was off? What's off in the settings here? What is this? Use raw dot physics? Turn that bad boy on. They're funny. I like watching that. USD 3 or D3, yeah, D3D11. Usually I do like that, but I'll just keep it as is. Screw it, whatever. I mean, this game is I'm not really looking for like super fine details right now.
Oh yeah, we gotta have ragdoll physics on. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, you know Project Zero plays Sea of Thieves too, right?
No.
We're gonna have to get Project Zero. I was on a mobile stream though. Me and Project Zero went sailing one time. We had a good time. We did one of the I think it was Tall Tales. I think we did the Tall Tales.
Yeah, I think I was watching you guys do that.
Yeah. Let's do Joust. Something not too crazy. Joust is like my... Yeah, let me look at gods. Who's new? How do we know who's new? It doesn't show anybody new. Let me do it this way.
We hacked it. That's how we did it. That's how we got the fight. Assassins
seem to be all the same, except for... No, wait. Yeah. Let me look at Warrior. Oh, all these guys look the same?
I know there's some new ones, I just don't remember who.
Okay, I see a Yamoja. That's a new Guardian. Mage? Well, you know they always add new mages for sure. No, I don't see a new mage. Wait, what? There hasn't been any new gods? No way. Hunter? Oh, they added a new hunter too. I don't know how to say his name. Hamidalar? Hamidalar? I don't know. Whatever. I don't know what I'm looking at here. I'm blind.
Is Thanatos a new one?
No, Thanatos been here. Big nerd, all right. You play Sea of Thieves too? Look at that. I think we all have it, you know, for the most part.
What about Hunbat?
Nope, Hunbats is OG still.
Okay, yeah. I don't play this enough, so I know which one's which.
Right, here we go. Make sure you hit accept. You don't want to get, man, they added so many new skins, man, but man, these skins are expensive, bro. They're like $8 for one skin.
I know.
Too much moolah, man. We're in quarantine right now. We're in recession. Let's everybody get those stimulus checks.
Oh yeah, I can't wait for mine.
Yeah, man, you're so lucky, bro. But you know what though? Oh, I thought my game crashed for a second. All right, we got a mage. What do you want to go, Jim? Dang, that music's loud.
Let's see. Don't know. Where the heck are we? I was thinking a hunter.
Go hunter, yeah. Okay, Cupid and Agni. All right, all right. How the hell do I choose my role with? Oh, I gotta do it this way now. They changed this. What the heck? Oh, there we go.
That's what I was looking at too. Like, what the heck did they do? I can't find.
She's new. I want to try her, but I don't know what she does. Just to be safe, I'm gonna go OG status. All right, let's do this.
Do you know anything about the RX or the Vega 56 or 64?
What's that?
The graphics card.
Vega? No, I'll have to look at it. Honestly, man, it's all like, you know, based on like you know, since I'm doing CFD, I mean not CFD, since I'm doing cement, I should just be playing music really. Man, I hate this copyright, bro. Like, I know there's non-copyright, but then they still like want to mute you and you gotta like fight it, and it's annoying.
Yeah, that's stupid.
It's too much work, man.
It's like it says non-copyright music, and then they still. Oh yeah. How do I buy?
Press I for inventory. Yeah. Shit.
I pushed recall.
The hell, I can't. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. All right, let's go. Showtime.
Oh, what? Oh, an auto purchase.
Oh, it's a new map. Oh, they changed the way this looks. What the heck?
Oh yeah, this is different. Okay, who grabs that? Me?
Yeah, you grab that. Or technically, if we had an assassin, they would. That's for Agni. Get in lane because they're pushing. All right, let's do this.
Ah.
Oh no, you don't. Oh no, you don't. Oh. Yeah, really? What is she doing? I'm pulling back. I'm gonna pull back. Be careful, Jay.
Okay.
Watch behind you. Wow. You really wanted to get me. Watch out behind you again. Why do I feel like my sound is all weird in this game?
Wow.
I can't hear the game.
Yeah, it's kind of.
Audio is like
low.
Yeah, it is kind of low. I think it's my settings, bro.
The sound effects are like super loud, but everything else.
Main volume, why is it down? Holy.
Ally has been slain.
There we go.
Your middle tower is under attack.
No.
You have slain an enemy.
Yeah, bro, I was on that one. A Vega 56. I almost bought it. Oh, Kels almost bought it.
It looks pretty good.
Yeah, they changed this whole layout on things. That's how you do it, bro.
I see.
Oh no, no, no. Oh, careful, careful. Oh!
An enemy has been slain.
Did I get the kill? No.
Ooh, that was close.
Man, I almost had him too. That sucks.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Right, right. Man, that's a close one, man. I walked right into that like a dummy. And oh, hearts. Oh. I'll grab this for you so you can get some mana back. Oh, careful, careful your health. Oh. Oh, I'm gonna die. Oh, I walked right into that. No! No!
Be revealed.
Did you do better with this on Xbox or do you like it on PC?
I like it better on PC.
Yeah. I don't even know what to build right now. What are we up against? We got Mage. I don't even know what that is. Oh, no, wait. That wasn't Humdollar? Wasn't that a new hunter? Physical, physical.
I think so, yeah.
Where the hell are my items at?
Ally has been slain.
Oh, I got a kill.
Careful.
An ally has been slain.
What?
Oh.
Hey, I almost had full health too. Wow.
Yeah, still it hurts. Oh, you are a Cupid.
Yeah, pretty good person. Why doesn't it tell me the player's names? It just gives me the name of the guy.
Well, it might be in your settings. It might just be in your settings, thingy.
Okay, because, yeah, it looks weird with the mirror above you. Oh, ow.
You have slain an enemy.
There we go.
Good teamwork.
Oh yeah, no, you stunned, or somebody stunned.
I hit it with my heart.
I see.
Whoa, what the? He knocked me out the map? What the hell was that?
What the heck?
Bro, that was weird. That was kind of cool. I was enjoying that. Get some Moors back out there again. All right, I'm coming, bro. I'm coming. I'm coming, man.
You have slain an enemy.
How we do it, man? That's how we do it. Okay.
An enemy has been slain.
Ooh, nice. I got another kill.
The way to do it, man. We did it. We did it. What is that? Like,
Your team
has destroyed a middle enemy tower.
Okay. Oh, I know he's a little worried now. Oh, watch the ultimate. Ooh. Okay.
An ally has been slain.
Oh man, I had too.
Oh my god, I missed. They're both so low health. Nice, Agni. Get him, get him, get him, Agni. Get him, get him. Ooh.
Killing spree.
Nice job.
Ability he has. Wow, I think it's
Killing spree. Deicide.
Yeah, he was trying to gank us. Stream caption. What's the stream caption? Dude, I'm doing weird. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to get back into rhythm. I'm definitely rusty for sure. Hey, what the hell am I building?
How do you get that, like, it's like a distance marker thing that you could actually tell where you're aiming at?
Oh, that's, when you hit your ability, you just press it once and it will show you. You better run. You better run. You got scared, man.
An ally has been slain.
You just sit there waiting for me.
An enemy has been slain. I'll defend.
Oh.
Did you just say I've been pimp slapped?
Rampage.
Oh, wow. I like that character, the Agni. I just been pimp slapped.
Yeah, the custom skins say different things. All right, I'll check out Discord in just a moment, Project Z. I'm gonna check it out, see what's going on. Right. Oh, okay.
Get him.
Uh-oh. Oh, watch the right. Oh! Pull back. Careful, they're coming. Watch it, she's gonna grab you.
Be revealed.
Behind you.
An ally has been slain.
That's what I was trying to get yelled at too.
Yeah, right. No!
Your middle tower is under a killing spree.
No! They're all weak.
Wow. Okay.
Oh no! No! They're at our Phoenix.
Is under attack.
Yeah, and you gotta understand too, you know, like a lot of these games, when you play on a different device, remember, like your game makes a like a system UI file or INI file.
An enemy has been slain.
Has ended.
Oh, back up, back up. Oh, you're back. You're good. Oh no!
Thanks.
I gotta pull back, man. We're all low on health. That was a close one, man.
Yeah, that was.
That was close. Okay, well, let's do this again.
I like how everything fills up this.
Shut down.
Can you dig it, sir? Swag it.
An enemy has been slain.
Take it right.
Killing spree.
I have.
Okay. There we go. See, I play a Guardian role pretty good, right? Just attack it.
An ally has been slain.
Ooh.
Rampage.
Ooh.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot about that too.
Right, he's doing good.
Remember that game, Stream Captain?
Yeah.
I forgot all about that.
Oh, but that's the one where you gotta have like viewers join you, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like marbles. Yeah, a lot of those games though require lots and lots of viewers. I'm gonna keep those queued though for sure. Like I know early on is okay, but I've seen like a streamer do it at a later level. You need viewers to help you out. You need a lot. The concept is there, but it's definitely for bigger streams.
Yeah, it's you gotta have at least. I seen some games or people play that they had only 20 viewers and man, they were struggling.
Yeah, I've looked at it and I'm saying I looked at that, I was like, I don't know, man. Later levels are insane. Yeah, I do like it though. It's cool. I mean, but it definitely
An ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain.
Oh, at least you killed the guy though.
Right. I'm just gonna.
Too close. Oh, he just got destroyed.
Shut down.
Oh, he died. I thought he did.
Oh, that is not good. I'm gonna knock this down for you. You can grab that red buff. Yeah. Oh no! Yeah, it's crazy.
Has been slain.
I was trying to get through this thing.
Ah, you're good. You're good.
Smack your mouth.
She lied. Oh man, she.
Your middle phoenix is under attack.
My
You
vigil
have slain an enemy.
is ended.
Oh, I'm dead. She got lucky.
Your middle
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's definitely crazy. Let me look and see what you were typing here, Project Zero. Hold on. What is that? Oh, the stream captain. That's what you sent me. Gotcha. Okay.
Smack your mouth.
But when people join your game, do they have to keep rejoining or they're always there? I don't remember. All right. Well, let's get this win, man. I'm coming back in. You ready?
People trying to find stuff, but I guess it's already good.
Oh, I think I'm gonna take the gaming glasses off because it's like my headphones are like crushing my ears.
I need to find me.
Oh, it's a new true placement every battle. Yeah, see what I'm saying? So it means I'll need like.
an enemy has been slain.
What a bully.
You have slain an enemy.
Last guard. I
Double
have
kill.
That's the way to do it.
Killing spree.
He's a bully.
Yeah, right, right. Well, you are fragile too. You are the Cupid. You're the DPS.
Yeah, I had to pay back, but when you got something that just like jumps out of midair and just lands on top of your head,
Right, right.
kills you in like 2 seconds.
At least the Phoenix is down, which is great.
Destroy the middle enemy phoenix.
Ooh, Agni's going for it.
An ally has been slain.
Oh. I'm gonna leave there real quick, crush their blue real fast. No, it's gone. Oh, careful, they're coming behind you.
An ally has been slain. You have slain an enemy.
Ooh-wee.
Thor's only level 12 and he just like destroys you with one hit.
Well, he's an assassin. He can 1v1 you, no problem. You can too, as long as you hit all your attacks. But he's melee, so he's gonna be a little.
Your middle phoenix
He's
is under
taped
attack.
to
Burning fires of multiple killing spree.
has ended.
Oh boy.
The dude with Thor is pretty OP though.
Well, he's always been kind of. He's always been kind of strong.
Even under level, he's still strong.
That is true. Yeah, you can level up your units on that thing, and then but that's about it. I'll have to join a big streamer channel in order to like. But well, I don't know. I'll have to look at it.
You have slain an enemy.
You mainly did a lot of that too, but you got the assist.
Yeah. Yeah, because I hit him with that first attack. But you caught him with the Frieza, which had that a lot.
An ally has been
Wow.
slain.
Be careful. Be careful.
Double kill.
There we go. That's the way to do it.
Fail.
Deicide.
Played smart here. Yeah, we're almost weakening their. There we go.
Good game.
We did it. We did it. We are the winners.
Even though I sucked.
Ah, you did good, bro.
I died most. Of course, I got a softie too. I got my character's the weakest.
Yeah.
Like the weakest one of the whole game, I think.
Give me 1 second because I'm going to.
Okay, I get 3 times battle points booster. Nice. I unlocked 8 things.
Hold on, let me exit out of here real quick because I'm gonna log back in. Okay. Yeah, stream readers. I don't know where that is. I had the EXE. I remember. Let me see. Stream.
You have to, don't you have to just go to the website?
Yeah, but I'm not a big fan of browser-based type deals. I'm not trying to capture my web browser, so I did download the game instead, and of course there's an update. Yeah, let's do one. Let's do one. We'll before we start a round, we'll do a
Stream Captain. Log in. Please don't make me have to do all this junk.
Oh yeah, this game remembers my settings.
Oh, we get an exclusive skin for followers? Cool.
Okay, let me see. Whenever this game decides to launch. Hold on. Okay.
Oh, really?
The heck happened? Okay. All right, guys. So here is we have Stream Raiders. I don't even know what level I'm on right now. Keep playing. Get a new map. You have 1 retry token. I don't know. I forgot what I do here. Campaign versus no army skins. We'll just do campaign. We'll do a new map, right? All right. So I believe this one was done. Is that what it was? I'm still in the beginning. We still got a long way to go before we take this any further, really. What was this one? It doesn't even tell you like the levels. So do I just clear these? Huh.
Watch on Twitch.
Skull equals level, right? How do I know All right, guys. Well, let's do this. I'm gonna need your guys' help for sure. Then. So, what's this? For the first one, we'll do the first one. Drag captain unit to the battlefield. I guess I'll go. Oh, these are the bad guys. Oh, this is our little area right here, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and go. I'll go tank. Right. Right. Is that what I'm doing? How do you guys do this? How do I do this? I forgot how to do this. Don't I like invite you guys or something? Eraser. Show player names. Oh, God, what was it? What was it? Oh, how do I get you guys to join again? I forgot. I want you guys to join through the stream. Oh, never mind. It just shows it right there. Never mind.
Yeah, let's see, come on. Why is it not letting me join?
But at least I gave you guys the link, so I just leave this open and just minimize it or something, or?
Yeah, you can just minimize that, yeah.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, yep, I see it. Project Zero's in. Okay, cool. So that's what we'll do. I'll just switch it back and forth. Wow. Let's get you guys in here.
Finally.
Yeah, man.
I got a lot higher level characters because I've been playing with somebody else, so I got some.
Nothing wrong with that. Get those high levels in here. I need them. I'm low level.
Put that dude out there.
Yeah.
We gotta make sure every 5 minutes, so I have to put some characters in. So.
Right. Let me do this real quick. Let me. I could probably just capture this with these. With this. I don't really need to capture the whole thing, so I think what I'll do is let's see here. I'll do
Wow, it just made like all your characters like stretch out wider.
Oh, I did?
It looks like it did, kind of.
Oh, yeah, for a second, right. Okay, let's do that for now. That looks weird small. What the heck?
It does, yeah.
You know what, though? I'll pop it up.
Yeah, 30 minutes by the time this match is over with, it'll be ready.
Right. But I think when I'm in it, or is it? It's not moving. It's weird. I don't know. Why is it not moving though? It's a Smite ad, right? Well, it is actually the size of the Smite ad. I think that's original size right there. I don't know if that's gonna cover the map or not. And it doesn't show the characters moving. I don't get it.
Not yet until the 30 minutes are up.
Yeah, but on my screen, the characters are moving. And now it's black. What the?
What?
Oh, it doesn't want to capture this way. A big bummer. Mind. Yeah, well. I'll just bring it up in 30 minutes. That's all. I'll just forget it. Do the easy way.
Okay, so
Yeah, well, I noticed that the characters weren't moving. Like, they were, like, solid still. And I'm like, okay. Maybe I'll just, if it becomes a thing, I will definitely make a scene just for it, you know, when we switch. Oh, I gotta re-invite you. Hold on. My bad.
okay, so which one's better, the line or the ruler for the targeting?
I have, well, now, let me see. You probably want to do, if I can get under. For targeting, I do line.
Okay, because I was on the ruler and it was
No,
yeah.
ruler, no. Do line, yeah. If you want it to be like mine here, I got you. Let's go to settings. For targeting, you want to do line for the first one, right? For reticule, use the X. Ground target, keep it on standard.
Okay, this is high contrast. Okay.
And the bottom two is off.
Okay. I think I had that online before on my other one, on the Steam version, but of course it's all changed, so.
Yeah. Honestly, that's a good idea. What I think I can do is like maybe make an overlay, right? Where it's like a box would be like for the mini game when it's time to play, and then I'll have obviously a bigger box of the gameplay. And then that way they'll both be up, but it'll look organized. You know, instead of me just kind of just throwing a game up there in front of the other game in front of the other game, which I have to get something. Maybe play around with Photoshop a little bit. I thought I saw Kelso get on. I know he got on. He's trying to sneak. Is he on Discord? No, he's not. Oh, maybe he got off for tonight. I'm not sure. Okay. All right. Well, you ready? We'll do Joust. Joust is my favorite mode. Unless you got a preference, we can go with something else.
That's fine.
I want strawberry milk. I don't know why I'm craving strawberry milk. Nestle strawberry milk.
When I'm usually playing like by myself on this one, I just play Arena.
Arena. I don't know why. I'm not a fan of Arena. I used to like Arena. But I don't know.
I'm usually between Arena and Joust. That's what I usually play.
Yeah.
Playing with the randoms. And...
Oh, I know. I like Joust because of the tower, and then yeah, randoms. At least you're only with 2 randoms. Conquest.
Yeah, I don't.
I like Conquest, but you gotta have a team that kind of knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
And it's weird because I got people I used to play with, and to this day they still don't do Conquest, and it's weird because that's the you know, League of Legends type of deal, the whole 3-lane, you know.
I never did like that because.
Oh, I think Kelso's having password problems too.
Playing with like a lane. If I picked a lane or something, I was told to go this lane, and then I get the whole team, the enemy team comes in there and just wipes me out.
Oh, Kelso's here. Project Zero's here. Wait, you guys can place more than 1 unit? What the heck?
Yeah, we can place as many as you can for the 30 minutes. Every 5 minutes, we get to place another character.
So, how do I announce, like... How do I announce this, like...
That you're playing it?
Oh. Try to do exclamation mark battle in chat real quick for me, Kels, or Jay. See if I let you do it.
Nope.
Even when I do it. Makes no sense. Am I missing something here?
Is that command?
Well, the battle's ready in 19 minutes, which will pretty much be after this round. Works in every other chat. Yeah, that's weird. Is that just a way to get into the game? Maybe is it? That might be what it is. Testing. Hold on. Let me see. I'll probably have to go back to the website and like probably look at what is the Stream Raiders, right? Is that what this is?
Yep.
Let me look. I probably have to set up like commands. Did you oh, you got in, right?
Yeah, I got it.
Let's log in real quick. Oh, free skin. Sweet. Thanks. I'll take that. Want me to do all this? That's a lot of work. All right, so
Yeah, I know.
back down real quick. Let's see. Streamer tools. See what I got to do here. All right. I downloaded the client, put the game in window. No BS. I did window mode. It didn't work. Put the countdown overlay in your main game scene. Blah 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 blah. That's the URL. Do I have that? I thought. Wait. Yeah, I don't have to do that. Okay. Enable chatbot for notifications. It's on. Start a battle and invite your viewers to join. Make sure you're playing as a captain. Go to battle and choose a battle. Tell your viewers to join on streamcaptain.com. They log in with Twitch. Select you as their captain. Place a unit. It doesn't say anything about battle. Oh, here we go. Hold on. Bot commands. Nightbot, Stream Elements. Oh, okay, I see what they did. Streamlabs. None of this for Trixzbot. Well, I can make Trixzbot do this, so let's see. Max Taco, thank you. Okay, let me see. I'm gonna have to figure out which one, because Trixzbot's language is a little different than these guys. So really all I needed to do is to capture the API, get the game command, and then it's going to give me blah, blah, blah. I'll figure out which one. I'm going to mess with this later. For now, let's get the game going. Wait, I chose Joust, right? Yeah, Joust. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna have to mess with it, because that's weird. I can do it while we're waiting on just to load up anyway. Yeah.
So it's gonna take a little bit.
We got 15 seconds. Bum 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 bum. I mean, if not, I can just set up with Stream Elements. Screw it. Why do I want to set it up with Trixzbot? Make my life so much complicated, right?
Yeah.
What's wrong with me?
Stream Elements is so much easier.
It'll be right there too. I don't have to worry about it.
It's already in your channel anyway, so.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it right here. Stream Elements. Okay. I'll just log into Stream Elements. All right, so we're still loading in.
Yep, match accepted. Okay, so we got a Botkus.
Okay, we got a Guardian. What do you want to do?
Okay, I'm gonna do Medusa.
Okay.
With their fancy gold skin.
Yeah. Oh, the heck do I make a command here?
I'm gonna do a battle points booster too.
Oh, here we go. Add a new command. Okay. Take this one.
He can't tell my voice. What the heck?
I'm gonna have to go mage.
Tick tock.
Oh, you got the beer keg, dude. Cool.
Command battle already exists?
Got a Santa Claus outfit. Wow.
Okay, the command's attack. Try attack real quick in chat, see if that works.
Yep, that worked.
It did work?
Yep, that one actually worked.
Okay, cool.
That is a big corn dog that guy's got.
That don't really sound right. I don't think you want to talk about big corn dogs.
That was huge.
Hello?
Hey.
So, I heard you say something, and I've heard you say it for many years while playing PC Smite. You
What's
say
that?
that you don't have all of your stuff that you would on the Xbox.
No.
Stream went offline, by the way.
Yeah, I had to redo it real quick.
Okay. Alright, so, this is my thing.
No.
I have all of my stuff from Xbox.
Okay.
All I did was log into my high-res